Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Half-Rate Heroes. We are in our second episode now, and we are having so much fun. So, brief reminder, this is our second stream adventure that we are putting onto this channel. If you haven't checked out the other stream, Crituitous RP, on Saturdays, do so. And thank you for joining us today. So, previously on Half-Rate Heroes, our adventurers, grouped together, are in the city of Neverwinter. They're working together through happenstance, through a ridiculous situation that involved a lot, a beheading, a case of mistaken identity, fooling nobles. A lot of things kind of merged together. It involved a big bearded lady. It was quite a day for our adventurers. They gathered together here in Neverwinter because there's a huge festival going on to celebrate the new Lord Protector of Neverwinter, Lord Belgidere. He has set up this entire citywide murder mystery style game where people in the city are role-playing as other people and getting involved in this. The concept and the idea is you need to find his crown, which has recently been stolen. Our heroes scared the life out of someone pretending to be a guard, not pointing at anyone in particular for doing that. Got his notes and his papers as he was just fumbling about, and he just led them straight over towards the guard's tower, where there were 3 individuals that were to be interrogated, 2 women and a man. After talking with them, they managed to find out that all of them were lying, and they were all supposedly involved in the theft. They were distractions. They were crew members that were kind of working on the sides. The actual site of the theft was a tower on the side of Castle Never. With our party heading over to that crash site, the site where apparently there was a big explosion, they come over to find a lot of decorations had been set up, false blocks and paintings on the side of the wall to make it look like this side of the castle had been exploded out. The party was set on alert as a group of shadowed figures came rushing out of the dark towards them. We rejoin right there as these group of individuals, there are 6 of them, that come running out of the shadows towards you all. You notice something specific about all of these individuals. They come in groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, dressed similarly in very tight-fitting, almost lycra-esque leather clothing. Hooded cloaks all the way up to the top. They are not wearing any sort of weapons or anything on them, but they do seem to have a sort of rope wrapped around their waists, and they're connected to one another. Okay? So each 2 are connected to each other. As they approach, one steps forward, pulls back the mask, revealing a set of long, flowing hair, really dramatically. "And what do you think you're doing here?" She speaks to you all.
You looked pretty good coming out of that wall.
You haven't answered my question.
We're just looking, of course.
With the rope.
You're meddling in places you shouldn't. Be gone before we have to deal with you ourselves.
No, that's all right. You...
Oh, wait,
Are we
fellas.
supposed to beat you up?
Fellas, wait. Before this gets out of control. Wait a minute. Well, I'm looking to see if I have agreement. Art thou know the villain who has taken the crown of the Lord Protector?
We are the Dark Hand, and we are protecting those who got involved in this. We are warning you one last time, do not continue your investigation, or you will find yourself in a world of hurt.
Not the Dark Hand!
Yes, the Dark Hand.
Goodness.
We've been watching you since you left the city guard and make your way over here.
Whatever can we do to not get caught up in your dastardly machinations? How can we survive?
We will forget that you came this way on one condition. You sneak back to the captain of the guard. He has something on him that we would like. Find his purse and bring it back to us, and we will forget that we ever saw you here.
What is it in his purse that you want?
He has keys. Get the keys, and we will forget you.
Is this to
Don't
save
do
the
this,
ones in
and
jail?
we will strike you down.
But my friend asks a good question. Are you trying to break out the other three? Is that what you're trying to do?
I do not need to answer to you. Will you do this, or will you face the wrath of the Black Hand?
Of course, we'll do this. Anything to be spared the wrath of the most infamous Dark Hand.
Anything, really.
You hear some giggling coming from one of the groups behind.
So we're turncoats now? Is that how we want to play this?
It's a game, mate. We're just playing along.
And we want to play it as turncoats.
Do you want to take another tack? I'm open to suggestion.
I mean, beat 'em up.
Me girl. Me girl, I say we test the ropes.
All right. I'll be along for this ride.
Allie wants to lean over to Kayla and be like, do you have any spells that would make me scarier?
I don't think so. Nothing would be powerful enough to make you seem frightening. You're so charming and friendly.
She gives a smile back to Kayla and just says, follow my lead, and looks at Lafcadio and approaches the three, kind of tugging on the lapel of her coat that she's been wearing. And as she gets closer and she goes, we could steal it for you, but really, we're already working for someone so much stronger. You see, and she kind of tugs off her cloak, letting those leathery wings unfurl to their full length. You should really be scared of us, as she's kind of striding towards them.
Roll an intimidation check.
And as she does that, I'll cast Thaumaturgy to make any lights dim, and then the sound of rumbling thunder will issue in the distance.
Okay. You have advantage.
A 10 and a 16.
Okay. Of the three groups that you have there, the two kind of back ones immediately kind of look to one another and back up ever so slightly. The one leading the way puts a little smile on her face, thinking, oh, it's all just part of the fun and game. Oh, no. Who art thou, crazy winged person, that I should be afraid of you?
I can be your best friend, or your worst nightmare, if you don't tell us what we want to know.
What do you want to know?
Who are the keys for?
For
And
me.
And why do you need them?
Because I will be using them to free some friends. Liberate some captives.
And who currently has the crown, and why did the Black Hand have interest in it?
That you must take from our dead bodies. Huzzah! And she starts striding towards you with fisticuffs up and at the ready. I'd like everyone to roll initiative.
Yay!
We're going to have some fun with this one. All right. So, did anyone get over 20?
Wampum got 23.
Wampum with the 23. 15 to 20.
15.
Solar? No, Nos. Sorry, Nos. Nos. With the 15. 10 to 15. What'd you get, Kale?
I got 12.
12 from Kale. 5 to 10.
9.
5.
9 of cardio. And 5 from Ali. Sorry, my mind is going blank. Alright. These 3 groups will be acting as 3. Pretty good. Yeah. So, Wampum, as the lead guard starts running towards you with her fists up at the ready, what do you do?
I'm going to take off running,
Okay.
and I'm going to focus on the rope that's right between the two of them,
Okay.
and I'm going to catch it, and I'm going to keep running as I go.
Okay. As you come running towards the rope, roll an athletics check to see if you can grab hold of it.
16 plus 8, 24.
24. Okay. You watch as both of these individuals tied together with this rope attempt to pull on the rope to make it a little bit taut and use it against you, but you do manage to grab hold of it. You now have the rope. You effectively have them not quite restrained, but you're holding onto a rope that ends up being a 30-foot long rope, so they're 15 foot away from you.
Okay.
How far are you running?
My distance.
Okay, so you're just gonna tear off.
Yep.
Okay, cool. That kind of draws those two individuals a little bit closer together. Anything else from you, Wampum?
That's it.
Okay. Well, since you're holding onto the rope, these two individuals will go next. They'll actually pull on it to pull you closer to them. I need you to roll either an athletics or an acrobatics check.
8 plus 8, 16.
16. Okay. As you're holding onto it, you stand your ground. But unfortunately, that's not really... They were kind of hoping that you would. As pulling onto the rope, it brings both of them towards you.
Cool.
They come flying towards, and they do a couple quick little jabs. Obviously, they're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to just knock you down to the ground. So I need you to roll another athletics or acrobatics check.
12 plus 8, 20.
20. Okay, you do manage to stand your ground as they're trying to kind of knock you over, giggling all the while they do that. Another group are going to go running towards Nos to try and distract Nos. As they come up,
Are they gonna
Yeah.
get within 10 feet?
They're going to get within 10 feet. What are you going to do?
I am going to use my Polar Master Feat to knock them back.
Okay. Go ahead and attack.
That's a 25 to hit.
That's definitely going to hit.
And I would like to note that I'm going to be using the flat side of the glaive. As a
I
weapon.
assumed all of you are going to try and do this non-lethally. Please. Yeah. Okay.
Dangerous assumption.
It's a repeat of Alex, the guard.
Right. So, as you attack, as you hit them with the side of the weapon, go ahead and roll the damage.
11.
11. Okay, cool. As you hit this first person, you can see that what they were hoping to do was a similar thing to what they'd done for to Wampum. The one that was running towards you was pulling on the rope to try and give the other one momentum. You actually knocked that first one down, causing the other one to lose all momentum that he had. As he comes charging towards you, he loses his footing and begins to fall over you. He's going to try and grapple you, but mostly just to hold himself up. So if you're going to allow it, you allow it. If not, roll either an athletics or an acrobatics check.
All right, that is a 16.
Okay. He does just about manage to hold on to you. You are now grappled by him,
Okay.
but it's mostly because he's just keeping himself up. All right, the last group, they're going to circle around and they're going for the winged one. And as they run over, they're trying to use the rope that's between them, and they're just going to run around you. Just keep running around. They're going to try and grapple you with it. So
Okay.
I need you to either roll an athletics or an acrobatics check.
All right. That would be a 18 plus 4.
All right, you manage to hold your own, and you just slide out of the way of all of the rope as they try to tie it. It ends up actually tying a bit of a knot in itself, making the rope a little bit shorter. They end their turn by shouting, "Ha ha! We have the upper hand. Surrender now, or prepare to die." Nos, what are you going to do?
Right, so I don't necessarily want to break free from where I'm at right now, but I would like to counter grapple.
Okay, so you grab hold of this young man that's holding onto you.
Specifically kind of around the neck, like that.
Okay, go ahead and roll an athletics check.
15.
You wrap onto him.
Do I?
He
Great.
stumbles so much that he loses his grapple on you.
I'm gonna give him a hard noogie and be like, yield! Say you yield!
What's your strength modifier?
4.
4. Okay. So you deal 5 points of psychic damage as you hurt his head. He yields. He gives up and drops to the floor if you let go of him, next to the one that you had already knocked on the floor unconscious previously. All right, anything else from you, Nos?
You guys can get in the corner.
Kale, what are you going to do?
Are there like torches and lanterns around?
It's purposefully tried to make this area look like a dark street side, dark corner, so there's very little light. And the sun is setting. Well, it's already set prior to the game, so.
Okay. I would like to use thaumaturgy. I'm going to change the appearance of my eyes so that they look like just like the darkest, most evil, devilish flames. And then I'm going to use another effect to make whatever flames are nearby to just as big as possible. And I can have 3 effects, right? Yeah, so third effect, I'll make my voice as loud as possible. And I'll just step forward, arms outstretched, saying, "Enough of these games! Surrender or face the wrath of Asmodeus!" And that's my
Roll an
turn.
intimidation check. You.
That plus some amount. What letter does intimidate? I. Okay, so 13.
13. Okay. So you are very intimidating. You've got the 2 that are on the floor next to Nos already. They're pretty much done. The two that are over by Wampum are still focused on Wampum enough that they don't really affect, are not really affected by you. However, the two that had attempted to wrap up Ali, both look terrified of you and start backing up. All right. Anything else from you, Kale?
Nope.
All right. Lafcadio.
The one who removed her mask.
Over by Wampum.
Wampum.
Yep.
Okay. So I will stroll up to the one who has removed her mask, and I'll take out my rod, and I will put it below her chin. Say, looks like we have the upper hand. You wanna surrender, or how do you wanna play this?
Roll either persuasion or intimidation. It's up to you. She's been so far very, very hard to intimidate.
I am persuading her with a roll of 14.
Okay. This one, finally enough. You threaten her. All right, enough. We shall answer your questions. Don't harm any of my men.
Very, very noble of you.
Okay. Ali.
Yeah.
You gonna do anything?
So are they kind of stepping down, all of them, or?
All of them will step down.
Okay.
Yeah.
First things first, she's gonna pick up her cloak and kind of put it back on, let her wings kind of curl back in, kind of act like nothing happened. Then she's going to approach them and be like, I asked you once before, what does the Black Hand want with the crown?
Okay. All right. So at the end of that, it's one round, initiative over with. They'll kind of relax a little bit more as it's all part of the game, according to them. The Black Hand were hired to take the crown and give it to a mysterious benefactor. This great wizard benefactor is watching all of us now.
Right now?
Right now, always. Eyes are everywhere. This great wizard has stolen the crown in order to test the people of the city and their resolve. You have proven yourselves quite capable. I would like to take you to my master.
Ali leans over to Kale and Lakato and kind of pulls the group together and just goes, just loud enough for the people to hear. If they betray us, you know what to do. Like an over-exaggerated wink. Like,
What do we do? Cut off fingers or?
well, we could do what we did to the last one. I can fly them all the way up into the sky, and then we can drop them wherever we wanted with a splat.
Sounds reasonable.
One of the thugs, the Black Hand, you can hear him audibly whisper to his friend, but a little bit loud enough for everyone to hear. Seriously, they're taking this game a little too far, aren't they? Freaks. All right. Do you follow this Black Hand leader to her leader?
First, I want to just like wheel on her like really fast, like turn to her and then like grab her head and change my eyes with thaumaturgy again to make them just like black pits of nothing. And say, let me look into your soul to see that you are true. Okay, you're good.
Seriously, dude, just a game.
Maybe to you.
I wanna start walking off and drag both of them that I had this rope with me.
To the guards.
Well, No, we would like to take you to our leader. You don't take us to the guard. That's not the next stage.
But you're criminals.
So, just to clarify, we are after the crown, and you're taking us to your leader. Does your leader have the crown?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Good. I think we should follow them, mates.
Allie's going to kind of slink off to follow from the side, just to be into stealth.
Okay. As you guys start following these individuals away from this section of town, you notice 6 more individuals take up positions, similarly dressed, similarly prepared, waiting for the next troop to come this way, taking their place. She guides you around the castle into a back entrance to the castle itself. Heading in through this entryway then follows down a dark tunnel. She lights a torch to give you some light and hands it out to other people if you need it. She assumes everyone needs it, as she doesn't assume dark vision. And then she continues leading you on down these steps into the lower chambers, the basement of the castle. As you follow the steps, come to a large wooden door, iron bindings, that just looks like it's absolutely one of the most secure doors you've ever seen. There are locks all over the place, bolts on both this side and you can assume on the other. The hinges are enormous and heavily stuck into the stonework around. She knocks on the door. Little window slides open. Yes.
Boo.
We have the victors here to meet the master. Very well, bring him in. And he opens the door. You see the chamber beyond is made to look as eerie as possible. It's just a large chamber, about 100 foot long, with sconces of torches on pillars, lying all the way down. At the far side, you see an enormous throne with its back to you all. This throne is extremely decorative, with bones sticking out like a rib cage reaching out over the person that must be sat on the other side. She guides you forward and invites you all to bow and kneel before the master.
Not happening.
Is
I'll do it. I'll play along.
is the bone throne believable? Is it
It's a prop, and it's obviously a prop.
It's like paper mache?
Yeah.
And who was
It's
sitting
not
in
the
it
right
again?
kind of shape of throne. Like, it's not the right kind of shape for an actual rib cage. It's just supposed to look like it. What were you going to say,
And-
Kale?
Who was sitting in it?
Well, its back is to you right now.
Oh, right.
How big is the room?
It's 100 foot long, maybe 30 to 40 foot wide, as best as you can get. About 10 foot away from the walls, you have pillars that hold the ceiling up. Each of those has the torches in them, and you've just kind of walked straight down the middle. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I'll. Go
Does
up
anyone
and-
choose not to kneel?
Yeah, I'm not gonna kneel.
Wampum does not kneel.
I'll just be like, in all seriousness, some of us regard taking a knee a little bit more seriously than a game. Okay, back to it.
Allie will kneel.
Now Lefkati was confused.
Just pretend I'm kneeling.
Okay. Just crouch down a little bit. Maybe bow, maybe.
Eh,
Okay.
as I go.
She will ask Wampum to let go of the rope. Please.
Oh! Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then they walk off. They leave you alone in this. The room past the pillars does have some guards. And you look as the light kind of shifts. You see them taking their positions. These guards are dressed in the filigree of Neverwinter.
Do they look like pretend guards or real guards?
They look like real guards. an assistant approaches the big throne, and you notice it's on top of a dais. She reaches down and grabs a handle on the dais and begins to turn it to do a full dramatic reveal of the throne as it turns, and you see Lord Belgidere sat in the throne himself.
Gasp.
You stole your own crown.
And you would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for us meddling actors.
Yes. Well done, everyone. Well done. You did fantastically well. You bested my actors. You solved the riddles. Question: Did you take the keys, or did you fight and defeat the Black Hand?
We defeated the Black Hand, of course.
But
Good, good. I needed people that wouldn't follow the instruction of the Black Hand and go and steal from the guard captain.
Wouldn't think of it, sir. Wouldn't even consider it for a moment.
Good,
Never crossed
good.
my mind.
Well, I considered it briefly. Determined it wasn't the best option.
You are men and women and of honor and of valor. And thank you. Congratulations. I have enjoyed watching the city play. As you are the first to be brought to this point, I greet you myself. Any subsequent group will be met by an actor playing me. I picked him out myself. I'm quite proud. He does a very good me. Anyways, at hand. I will give you the prize. You reached here successfully. You followed the path. And he nods to an advisor who will walk over and hand you all a big leather pouch filled with gold.
thank you.
As well as the prize, I have promised that you can all have a feast with me. So, without further ado, because I believe there is another group coming along shortly, let us go have a feast in my home. Would you join me, great heroes of Neverwinter?
Absolutely.
Of
And-
course.
Yeah,
Can
Anna.
I roll a perception check? Allie doesn't seem convinced that they've won yet.
That would be an insight check.
Insight check.
Yeah.
11 plus 8, so 19.
It seems fairly genuine.
Okay.
As straightforward as a man could be, while pretending to be an actor in this situation. But he is he is definitely the Lord Protector, and he is genuinely proud that you did so well. Proud of himself for setting up such a wonderful game, of course. And he leads you all, steps up and leads you towards a side staircase that will spiral up into his chambers. Do any of you object to a feast with him?
No.
Or what are you guys doing?
As we walk,
Nice.
I'd like to ask. So, should we introduce ourselves? Do you care?
I do very much care about every one of my subjects, but let us discuss things over dinner. I feel it is better to get to know people over drinks. Wouldn't you say, Master Dwarf?
Hi. As
There we
as
go.
he's cleaning out his mug.
As we're walking, I will be trying to take in as many details as possible, like how we got in, how we're getting from point A to point B, etc., etc. If I see any rooms that look particularly well guarded, just noting these things.
You do watch that as you follow the path and the staircase up, you see a lot of guard positions from here. A lot of locations where guards who are on duty would be sleeping or resting while they're here. But eventually, when it gets up to the top of the staircase, he'll open a door, and it'll open up into the foyer of his grand castle, his great chambers. As you step out, there's a horde of claps and cheers as the staff are praising you. Hurrah, hooray, hurrah, well done, congratulations, great heroes. And the cheers will eventually just kind of die down as a little serving girl will come along with drinks for each of you if you wish to take them. They are all ale, just generic ale. He invites you to come and sit down in his large meeting room, which has a series of couches set out in a large circle around what looks like not large, about a 5-foot diameter sphere coffee table. Can't think of the medieval name for a coffee table. But positioned on top of this, you can see a map of the north. You can see clearly there's the Sword Coast. This map covers the majority of the north, and the Sword Coast included, going as far east as Citadel Felbar and the areas around there. It's about as far east as it goes, just about the edge of the high forest. He invites you to sit down as food is brought out on huge platters and placed in front of you all. The food smells succulent. The air just seems to immediately warm up as sausages, chickens, pheasants, huge, lots of vegetables, and just, it's a great big meal. I'm trying to think. All I can think of when it comes to medieval meals is the type of meats that they serve. Lots of cheese. Potatoes, yeah. Just a wonderful, just cavalcade of food, just prepared in very decorative manners. Almost don't want to be the first one to slice into things,
I'm
as
not
it's all
waiting.
decorative. But no, nothing stops Wampum. He sits down in a single armchair that's kind of at a point on the circle. It's separated just slightly. All of the rest of the couches are 2 or 3 man couches, and he invites you all to just eat your fill and then sit down and relax.
I'm going to take a place as close to his right hand as I can.
Okay.
So, are we talking over dinner right now, or?
So he's just invited you all to sit down. Is there anything that you are doing for this? Like, are you grabbing yourself lots of food? Or are you avoiding it? Are you sitting down? Are you taking stock of the place like Lafcadio would have been?
I'm holding up my mug.
Allie would take stock of the place while kind of getting a plate, like a modest-sized plate, of food to carry over to one of the couches.
Okay. And servers will come around and refill drinks as often as you need. Okay. The Lord Protector nods and shoos away some of the people that are kind of tending to you all. Well, let me introduce myself. I'm sure you know who I am, but I would like to get to know you all personally. My name is Aldar Belgidere.
Well met. I'm Nos the Red.
And why are you called the Red?
Well, on account of all the blood that happens when I happen. My blood, their blood, everybody's blood.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't name myself. Required.
Fair enough.
Well met. I'm Lafcadio Whitehorn.
Greetings, Lafcadio.
I come from the Sea of Fallen Stars region. It's a
Well met.
it's a very nice town you got here.
It is. It is a wonderful town. And the rest of you, who are you?
Allie. Just Allie. She
That's
says, I'm a merchant. Or not a merchant, sorry. My father's a merchant. I'm just a mercenary.
I am Cale Irvine. I'm from the Kingdom of Eltergard.
Well met. And you, Master Dwarf.
Welcome, Thunderbelly.
I like seeing a man who enjoys his food. Welcome, all of you wonderful, great adventurers, great heroes. I personally do enjoy games like this, and I enjoy setting this kind of thing up, but there was a hidden meaning or purpose behind the game.
Do
And
go
what
on.
purpose would that be?
Yes.
A friend of mine needs some help. His name is Methrama Arasume.
Pharma Arasume. That is an exotic sounding name.
It is. He is the current Lord of Silvery Moon. Have any of you been out to the Silver Marches recently?
No, but I've heard plenty of stories.
Pray tell, what kind of stories?
She kind of takes a moment. She's a little starstruck still, so she kind of... well, I'm from Belgidere. You probably haven't heard of it. It's a long way away. But I've heard tales of so many places up here that I never dreamed that I would get to see.
Mantoldereth, you may be interested to know that that happens to be almost exactly under Silvery Moon. I do know of that location of which you speak. I also know the kinds of people that are there. Greetings. I wonder, you're not human, drow, Duergar, or Swervneblin. So which of the enclaves did you hail from?
Allie kind of pulls back the cowl, and she just kind of says, Enclave. Well, I work for a mercenary group with a sordid reputation, looking to change our ways.
Very well. Then I must ask of you in particular a very serious question. What I am about to discuss with you, will you end up reporting it back to your superior?
Cale accidentally drops a fork.
Can I roll a
Sorry.
Can I roll a persuasion check? Just because I don't think Allie knows what she's going to do, and she just wants to be very sincere about it.
Well, if you roll persuasion in this moment, then that means, as of right now, you do intend to keep what he's about to share secret from your superiors. If you don't care at all, and are likely to share it anyway at some point, you should roll deception.
Alright, so I'll roll persuasion.
Okay.
That would be... That would be a 16 plus 4, so 20.
Okay. Very well. Good. Thank you. My friend, Methrama, the current Lord of Silvery Moon, has been having some trouble lately. People have gone missing, and he needs some help of individuals capable, willing to keep things quiet, whilst also honorable and upstanding individuals. Do you account yourselves as such? Very well.
Absolutely. I'm sure you're familiar with the Kingdom of Eltergard. There's nothing but the most honorable and upstanding of individuals that come from there.
Very well. Well, then, at first light, my stable masters will have horses, tackle, bridles, all of the things that you might need to prepared for a journey across the land to Silverymoon. And I would take it as a personal pleasure and appreciation if you would travel to Silverymoon, hear out Mithrama, and complete the task that he has before you. If you do this and return, you will be hailed as nobles, as heroes, and I will invite you personally into the city as effectively, they say, giving the key to the city and all of that. You will be grand, what's the word? It's escaped my mind. Thane, there we go.
Thanks.
You will be my Thane if you will perform this task for Mithrama. Will you do such a thing?
How many days is his travel?
Across the land. Yeah, 3, 6, 9, 12. Maybe 30 days travel along the Tribor Trail and the Evermore Way.
Okay.
And horses and food for the horses are provided?
They will be provided. Though we will not be giving you... I will not provide you 30 days worth of food for the horses. That's just a lot of weight. But I do have... You will be able to restock. I will give you some coin to cover those costs at Tribor and onwards.
I'm a bit curious
Yes.
about a great many things, but for now, why is it that the Lord of Silverymoon isn't recruiting heroes himself to solve this problem?
He trusts my judgment.
Is that another way of saying he doesn't want to cause a disturbance or panic with his own citizens?
Sure. We'll go with that answer. My friend would like to keep things quiet, and he asked me to find individuals.
He did. How long ago was this?
Few weeks, maybe. When the problems began to start, he immediately messaged me, looking for aid. As I'm sure you know, recent historical events have proven adventuring groups tend to be a little more productive and efficient at stuff like this.
That's, I'm sorry to say, but that's an odd statement for a lord to make of his own subject, his own guard.
My guard cannot be bested in the defense of my city, but instruct them to charge on through trails, following on with leads and visiting various different cities. They might not be that so inclined.
So you're saying you have a weak military?
No, I have the greatest defense you could ever experience.
Okay.
But moving such a force would draw unwanted attention from neighboring cities as well.
Of course.
And it would leave me defenseless.
Yes. So these people that have gone missing, are they prominent folk of Silvery Moon, or just common, what's the word, rabble?
He leans forward a little bit with his attitude changes a little bit. As according to Methrama, it has only been the children that have gone missing. As of yet, no one over the age of 13 has been taken from the city.
It's messed up.
It is, which is why I ask for people of honor.
Of course. You mentioned that you received a message from Methrama. In what way did you receive this message?
Via magic, via sending.
Sending. Okay. Do you know the spell yourself, or does he or she? Or do you have stones, perhaps, that perform the spell for you?
We, as friends, do have stones that we communicate back and forth with in our private quarters.
Stone descending. Okay. Well,
Lafcadio, do you ask that question that you put into chat?
Oh, no, that's a pop culture reference.
Okay.
Out of game, obviously.
I asked that question, by the way, for Lafcadio's benefit, mostly. So, well, I guess I wouldn't have known, but that's why it's coming. Anyway, I was curious. The hell else was I going to ask? So, I am certainly well inclined to go solve this mystery myself, but I worry that the rest of my party, my companions here, may need a bit more incentive.
Nope.
No? You guys are good?
Allie simply... Can I make a persuasion check? All right.
Why you... So
well,
you can't just ask me, can I make a check? You tell me what you're going to do, and I'll tell you what check to make.
She's going to ask for some items to help with the quest.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What items are you going to ask for?
I'll just roleplay it out. This is no doubt going to be fraught with danger from the wilds, as well as from the great task you've bestowed upon us itself. Surely you could offer something that may aid us in our endeavors.
Allie, there be wee ones. Ye not be asking for much.
Roll a persuasion check anyway. But yes.
That would be a 9 total.
I cannot know what dangers you will face out on the road. So, for fear of over-preparing and burdening you, I can't really give you too much. However, you have access to any of any merchant in town will give you a good price, and I have just given you a hefty sum of money, and I will give you all additionally a stipend to cover costs along the travel. That should cover all your needs.
Allie nods and just kind of goes quiet.
Okay.
Well, I'm good. That's all the questions I have about this particular subject. If anybody else has anything they'd like to bring up, they're more than welcome.
It's an honorable quest. Throw that away. It's an honorable quest. Obviously, we have to save the children.
Mm-hmm.
The offer to become lords and thanes in your fine town
Is a great offer.
It seems quite nice. Is there any chance we could get this whole agreement in writing?
Sure. And he will call over an advisor to come in and dictate and write down that which he explains. He then invites you, so saying exactly that, upon completion of the task that Methrama has for you, you return to Neverwinter, and he will give you this title, and with it is explained the rights and the responsibilities that come with it, access to anywhere within the town that is legal. You can't break the law as a Thane. He's not going to put that down in writing. You might be able to get away with it, but he's not going to put it down in writing. And with it, he will then invite each of you to undersign, but then he intends to keep a copy of the contract. Okay. So
Right,
will you all sign?
I'll sign that. Maybe we could also get like a writ of passage that says that we are working as agents of you, in case anyone has any misunderstandings about what we're all about.
I would expect upstanding individuals, not causing any trouble along the way, shouldn't have any sort of need to call upon my name as you travel.
With all due respect, my lord, look at our faces.
It is true.
We might run into a problem.
Yeah, the North is sometimes a little quick to judge on appearances.
I would have liked to have thought that over the years we'd gotten over those barriers.
Not all of them.
Then, fine. You will each be given the writ, the mark of Neverwinter.
We won't abuse it.
Good. Is there anything else that I and my wonderful city can do to aid you all?
I've got something.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful.
I've actually been searching for someone for some time, and I was curious if you or perhaps your guard or any of your agents throughout your, whatever intelligence network you have access to, has seen or heard of the whereabouts of a moon elven woman by the name of Seriel.
Serial.
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, no, I don't know the name, but I can make a note of it, and I will start asking some of my contacts to see if we know of this Serial, did you say?
Yes.
Serial. Okay. Okay.
Where was she last seen?
To my knowledge, Fort Tamar. And that was upwards of 50 years ago. So not much to go on, I'm afraid. Yes. But any information you may be able to dredge up could be extremely helpful.
Of course, we will do. I will have my best historians and researchers out looking for any information about this woman.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's it for me.
Perhaps before we leave, we might be able to get a tour of the place. As soon as we entered the city, my breath was taken away by the majesty of the realm, and I dearly love a walk through the halls.
The halls of my home, or the halls of the city?
The castle, where we are. I think we are.
I can obviously share with you some areas. I will show you a tour of some of the more open spaces within the castle. Of course.
I've heard, obviously, rumors of the majesty in a king's hall. Obviously, you're not a king, but perhaps you could tell me stories about some of the wondrous items that you have at your disposal.
Oh, I don't have much to really worry about. Nothing too fancy or special. I've only just come into the position. He will gladly show you around the castle. If there is nothing else that people would like to talk to him about over dinner.
I'll join in on that tour.
Okay.
I would like to as well.
All right. Well, during the rest of the meal, he goes on to talk wonderful tales, and he tries to get to know all of you a little bit better. Where have you been? What are you? What is your history? Where are you from? And when you mention locations in the world, he seems surprisingly knowledgeable about a lot of the locations in town. The dinner goes over quite fairly quickly, and the food eventually stops being replenished, and maybe you guys get your fill. But eventually, the Lord Protector will stand up. Now, it is getting pretty late. I will show you the castle grounds and then bid you farewell. You have a long journey ahead of you.
Awesome.
Leaving the dinner table, he sets you out of this chamber and actually takes you out of the castle, like the hall that you're in. You step out and you are still inside the walls of Castle Never, which is over on the western side of the city. He starts by taking you up to the castle walls parapet, and you can see from this position the entire city just laid out before you. People still playing the games, torches and lights moving through the city. Looking out, his castle looks out over the river that cuts the middle of the city, and then out into the ocean. He talks about the wonders of how much he loves Neverwinter, how beautiful it is, and how miraculous it is that it is always warm here. He goes on to describe and explain how far below the city, the wonders of Mount Hotnow, which had previously destroyed Neverwinter, still burns away beneath the city, and the tragic event that happened in the past has subsequently meant that the city is always warm. Neverwinter is Neverwinter because the heat in the volcano keeps everyone in a perpetual spring to autumn atmosphere. And he seems to have this kind of attitude about this and everything else that is very much always looking on the bright side of anything tragic that had happened. Looking back now at the previous adventures, he talks about how, yes, there was a time when giants attacked us all. I was there in one of the small little towns when giants attacked, but as a result of that event, we've garnered better relations with the giant kind, particularly the frost giants. And he continues. He explores the rest of the castle, showing you some of the more historical areas, but there are obviously sections of it that are cordoned off that you can't get access to. And then before long, he steps you back to the outside of the castle walls, bids you farewell, and thanks you all for participating in the game and agreeing to this mission. Is there anything that you guys would be doing while he is giving you this tour?
Looking for Thunderbelly Ale.
Unfortunately, there is not a single drop of Thunderbelly Ale inside his castle.
You don't know what you're missing. Best ale in the land.
Sure it is, Master Dwarf. Sure it is, Wampum.
Some point, I would like to cast Detect Magic.
Okay. At which point?
I guess when we're in the more historical area, something like that.
Okay. What are the components required for Detect Magic?
Vocal and somatic. So he'll
Are you trying to do so quietly and sneakily?
No.
The moment you begin casting a spell,
Mm-hmm.
guards immediately step forward. He asks you, "What are you doing? Please stop."
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to get a better look of everything around here.
What spell were you trying to concoct and enact?
I was going to detect the presence of anything magical in the area.
For what reason would you need to do so?
Curiosity. He'll pull out his book with the symbol of Denier on it and just kind of like bump on the cover.
He's a very quick learner and a very curious fella.
For matters of security of state and privacy, I would prefer it if you didn't do such a thing.
Fair enough. It'd be foolish of me to argue.
Thank you. And he will go on to mention and just casually mentions that, like, how his guards would react if someone were to draw a sword in his presence. Anyone even beginning to cast a spell in his presence is potentially considered a dangerous act. So we apologize. It was just a simple spell that you were going to enact, but they'd prefer no magic be cast in his presence.
A fair policy.
All right. Anything else, you guys? Yeah, go ahead.
Ask another point. Maybe let that wear off a little bit. But I'd like to ask him how he came to be the Lord of Neverwinter.
Oh, well. After the tragic fall of Lord Neverember, during that nasty time with the curse running around, the city was in a bit of disarray. I had been friends and connected with some of the more common folk, and with their care and instruction and their vote, I became Lord Protector. And I find myself loving them far more because of their decision to have me.
Speaking of love, I have a favor to ask.
If it is within my power and legal, I'm sure I'd be happy to help.
We may have disturbed one of your actors today, by the name of Alex. If you could take care and look into that for us, we would sincerely like to apologize.
I haven't had a full report. What did you do?
Words were said.
I got this. I spooked him. I punched the wall beside his head trying to play the game, and I guess I played a little bit too hard. I apologized immediately afterwards. I offered to get him some drinks and stuff, but he said he'd just go home.
Fair enough.
Sorry about
I'm
that.
sure if I was in your
to-
place, I'd do a similar thing
For the record, I haven't tried to play the game since then.
Very well. Very well. Yes, I will make sure that Alex, whoever he is taken care of.
Make sure he changed his drawers.
Very funny.
Did you lose many friends when the curse was going around?
Many friends, family, loved ones. Many people fell to that damned curse. We were lucky it was fixed when it was. There were many more that were ready to fall.
Well, thanks for sharing. Let's move on.
So he bids you farewell. If there's nothing else that you would like to discuss with him, you have the rest of the city. You have you haven't really squared away a location to sleep in, I don't think. But
I know Lafcadio did.
I know he said he would, but whether or not he did is a different matter. So what would you like to do? You have the entire city at your disposal, though it is late at night. You're looking close to midnight at this point.
So shops will be closed.
Yeah, the game is also died down. Everyone's going back to bed.
Nikita, Nosferatu, you gonna split that boon? When Belgidere handed over all the coin, I saw you.
Oh yeah. Allie divvies it up.
Appreciate it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
she'll be fair.
All right. I believe I said 1,000 coin. 1,000 gold. All right, so 200 apiece.
Can I, in retrospect, so half of my mission is to get an idea of what Belgidere is like, what his disposition is, if he's an honorable man. If I had to just go off of what he was saying, he'd sound like an honorable man and an optimist and a fairly trustworthy fellow. But I'm not Lefcadio. Can I do an insight check to see if that's what he's also gathering?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
That is a 16.
16. He seems fairly straightforward and honest in everything that he's been discussing. It's obvious that some of the optimistic attitude is a front in some situations. Like he must be optimistic, but generally speaking, you get a sense of like trustworthiness and honor with him. He was always talking about honor. Okay.
Well, I'd like to offer. I've got a nice room at an inn. You're welcome to come with me if you don't have any place to stay. There's a bed and probably a couch. One would think, I don't know, it's a wealthy kind of inn.
It's a wealthy establishment, so you'll have one large bed and a chair, but there will be plenty of space in the room if people are willing to slum it.
Would Allie have had a room because she's been in the city a few days, or?
Yeah, if you'd like to, but each night will obviously cost.
Yeah.
So.
Allie is like, of course I would join you. After all, we're friends now, and it makes sense for us all to stay together to prevent sore losers from capitalizing on what we have been given.
I noticed you introduced yourself as just Allie. Should we call you Allie?
Allie offers a shrug and just says, you can call me whatever you want. Looking the way I do, names don't really mean much to me when you've been called them every day. Allie will work for all of you.
Walpole will walk over to Nas with his little pouch of coin and grab her hand and put it in. That's for I.B. Owen.
Into the pot it goes. Let me know if you need anything.
While we're heading back to the inn, is there anything you guys need before we head out tomorrow?
It's got a tavern under it, right?
Yeah.
I was asking.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. Yeah, it's actually the place where we met with the booths. So it's
all right.
It's right nice.
We're good then. We're good.
Before we leave in the morning, I would like to look at some shops. Would anyone like to come with me?
Sure.
You mean now or tomorrow morning? You said?
Tomorrow morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have a look around.
Okay. So then, if there is nothing else, you guys will kind of cramp up inside of Lefcadia's room. It's a bit tight for all 5 of you, but it's better than not having a room at all. The place is packed, so securing an additional room at this late hour was nearly impossible if you had inquired. What were you going to say?
I offer my bed to the ladies. It's like, please, help yourself. Or I can take the couch.
You
Don't
look,
mind if I do. Immediately
okay,
face plants and just snores.
Wampum is going to make his way to the stable.
Instead of going to the bed? Okay,
Yep.
what are you going to do at the stables?
I'm going to pack up a nice hay bale, use as a pillow.
Okay, so you're going to try to sleep at the stables?
Yep.
Okay, all right. About 5 minutes after you start piling together some hay, you hear a voice shouting at you, "Hey, what are you doing in there? Stay away from my horses. You can't be sleeping in the stables.
How about if I give you a gold?
A gold coin to disturb the horses all night? No, sir.
How about 2?
Don't be making me call the guard.
All right. Can I at least take some hay with me?
Sure, you can take the pile that you've already disturbed.
Okay.
Sleeping horses, disturbing, breaking and entering.
So then I'm going to go out underneath the tree.
Okay, so you're going to go out and sleep out in the open. Okay. Well, during that night, while you are sleeping, let me see if anything happens to you. It's a busy street to be out in the open. Okay. About an hour or so in, guard will come along and kick you. This guard has not had a very good day. This guard has been bothered by nobles, and now he's seeing what looks like a homeless person sleeping underneath a tree in the middle of the city. Hey, what are you doing sleeping down here?
Well, me tried the stables. That didn't work. So, me trying a tree.
You need a place to sleep. Go check out one of the inns.
Day's all full.
You can't just be sleeping on the streets.
I'm gonna, as I'm laying on the ground, I'm just gonna hold up a gold coin.
He reaches out and takes the gold coin. I guess we might walk away for an hour or two.
I hope he has a better night.
You too, good sir. Good night. And taking the coin bribe, this fellow walks off, telling tales of this annoying noble who bothered him all day about VIP entry into an event. Right. So, you will sleep for the night. Everyone will sleep for the night. No one has any idea where Wampum slept, but eventually he'll walk in through the tavern towards you all as dawn is breaking. On this day, the streets are still busy. The tavern is still fairly busy. The event's finished. Some of the lesser games are still running. You can still play a couple games. But most merchants are starting to pack up and move back to their other towns. But most places are still open and available. What would you guys like to do on this bright and sunny, wonderful day?
Allie, wait. Oh, after you.
Well, just pretty much as soon as I'm dressed without really bothering anyone else or, waking them up or anything, I'd like to go down to the tavern and acquire 2 whole bottles of whiskey, 2 whole bottles of rum, and 2 whole bottles of tequila. The Faerunian equivalent of tequila.
Faerunian tequila, okay. It's got a little Tetherian man with a hat on it. It's called Artier's Blend. You will be able to get those bottles for, I'd say, 5 gold pieces.
Great.
All right. Cool.
Me girl, I see you ordering your normal breakfast.
For the road.
How's me beard, me girl?
It is. It exists. What are you looking for?
Is it straight?
Ooh, well, yeah. Well, ish. Enough?
There's
Okay.
a little bit of hay sticking out of it.
Get a little something going on there. Here, I'll pull you over to a glass surface so you can see your reflection.
Damn, that's pretty.
But before I head out in my room, I'm gonna just jot down a quick letter. Say, Belgidere seems fine. Don't know the disposition of any magical items. Still working on it. And then I'll fold it up, wax seal it, and then as we walk around, I'm going to be on the lookout for anyone with the Emerald Enclave pin. So I'm sure I have a contact who I am supposed to report to, so I'm putting that person's name on the outside of that paper. And if I encounter a representative of the Emerald Enclave, I will pass it to them slyly.
As a faction agent, you would know that within the city there's usually signs and symbols placed all around that are hidden but in plain sight to be able to indicate to you where you need to go to find the local agent and the local drop box, so to speak. You'll begin looking around and you'll find those signs and you'll follow the trail, resulting in stepping over to a shop. It is looks like a flower shop, just simple little place that sells all kinds of beautiful little decorative arrangements of flowers. There is a druidic elven woman in there, and you do find the symbol just kind of lightly embroidered amidst a bunch of other filigree onto her cloak that indicates she is the local contact for the Emerald Enclave. So you'll hand off your letter to her, she will nod, and you'll be assured that it will go where it needs to go.
Perfect.
Okay.
And would he have left before the rest of the party, like Hale and Allie, woke up, or?
I would have written this down privately and then looked for an opportunity during our travels throughout the city. So yeah, I wouldn't have gone off by myself.
Okay, so during the shopping time.
Yeah.
So anything else?
Allie kind of wakes up with a what time is it? Kind of blearily looks around the room. Kind of rolls herself off the bed, gets the boots on, kind of slumps, kind of grabs her bag, throws the cloak on, heads downstairs. I'm sure that Wampum and the rest are kind of probably ordering around that time.
Yeah.
She waves over to one of the wenches for whatever the breakfast platter is, and then discreetly, while looking at Wampum and Nos, goes, "Do you happen to have any Thunderbelly ale?"
To Wampum
wench.
and Nos, or to the wench?
To the wench.
As a fine establishment, they do contain a lot of the more delicate items, and so we can procure you a single glass of Thunderbelly ale, should you desire.
Allie kind of lets out a sigh. Well, it's a gift, so I'd really like to be able to take it for the road. I would pay extra.
Unfortunately, not only is it a little bit early in the day to be acquiring alcohol, but it's also a very limited stock, and so we're not going to be able to sell it to you in enough of a quantity to take out, I'm afraid.
Allie nods and kind of lets out a sigh and is like, okay, then never mind, scratch that.
Okay.
So while we're having breakfast, I'll say, Wampum, I'm not rightly familiar with the North. Will we be heading by your folks on our way to Silvery Moon?
We be heading by Mirabal, you say?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Are we heading up the long road?
So you could get there that way, but it's a bit long-winded. The way that was mentioned by Lord Belgidere was to travel via the Tribor Trail towards the village of Tribor, and then take the Evermore way to Yartar and up towards Silvery Moon that way. So unfortunately, it is south, and Mirabar is north.
I ain't been much south there.
So that's a no. We're not heading to your kin.
Don't be looking like it.
All right. Well, it'll be a new adventure for us all.
As long as you promise me ale along the way, I'd be following you.
Okay. So, some of you have mentioned shopping prior to leaving. The Lord Protector did inform you all that you can go to his stables within Castle Never walls to get the horses and all the equipment from him. But what else are you guys going to be acquiring in the city prior to leaving on this day?
Allie would like to hit up a magic shop.
Okay.
As well as she has 3 stops. She wants to go to a bookstore. She wants to acquire a small, I don't know, it's like the small version of kegs. I don't know what they're called. Of Thunderbelly Ale. And she wants to shop for jewelry.
Okay.
So
a mini keg. You'll have to go shopping around town to be able to find places that will sell a mini keg of Thunderbelly Ale. Wampum, it is your family's ale.
She's also hiding this from him, though.
Yeah.
She's being super discreet.
What's the current passing rate for a mini keg of Thunderbelly Ale? Wampum.
15 gold.
Okay, so it'll cost you 25 gold.
All right. Can I? Allie would probably try to haggle that down.
All right, roll a persuasion check.
And my persuasion is 4. So that would be a 9 total.
A 9. For you, they'll do a special price of 50 gold.
Allie will pay it.
All right. For trying to haggle at this particular establishment. So you buy that ale. What else were you? You were going to go to a magic store and a bookstore. Mm-hmm. Most books are going to cost between 5 and 10 gold pieces for just general books.
Yep. Allie's.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for with the book?
Anything that involves magic. It doesn't have to be a magic tome. She's looking for just fiction. Doesn't matter. She's just going to be like, oh, this has magic in the title. Womp.
Okay. All right. You end up stumbling across a children's instructional book on playtime magic.
All right.
Okay.
I'd like to join her there in the magic shop and look for at the bookstore. Kayla would want to see if there's anything on Silvery Moon.
Okay. Roll an investigation check.
Nat 20 put up. So that's going to be a lot. 32.
32. Man, okay. You are able to find a tourist's guide to Silvery Moon. Recent events circa about this time. It'll include a map of Silvery Moon, brief explanations about the recent history. The recent history involves a lot of involvement in some of the more dangerous events of the past. Particularly, they were involved in the demon attacks in the Underdark. They were somewhat involved in the giant engagement, but that's about it as of recent.
Okay.
So, you'll get that book. It'll cost 20 gold pieces, though, to get that
20
information.
Gold, yeah, that's fine.
All right.
No problem.
Okay. And then Magic Store. What are you looking for in the Magic Stores?
Yeah.
Ali first.
Allie would drag Kale around. Kale, I'm not very good with magic items, but since most likely this will be dangerous, I'd like to find something to help us. Would you be able to help me pick out something good?
Absolutely. Yes, of course. I'm sure the proprietor wouldn't lie to us about the most of the things we'll find in there will be properly labeled, I'm sure. But
And
I can
do you
double
know-
check.
Do you know any magic shops here? I know we just met yesterday. I don't know how much time you've spent in the city.
Only the one day, but I did meet a very polite gnomish woman that was selling a medallion that could read thoughts by the name of Kagath Rune.
That sounds just wonderful. We should go there.
Yes, she was asking a bit much, but that may have been before word got about that Lord Belgidere insists we receive a discount at many of his stores.
Then we simply have to go.
Of course.
Did he insist that? I might have been absent for that.
He mentioned that was one of the benefits we would receive.
Okay. So you'll go across the town. You'll find this menagerie, the magical store. Less people crowded around it. The medallion is in the display case on the side, and you, Kale, see the gnomish proprietor roll her eyes as you approach. Hello, welcome.
Good morning. It is
Allie
so
wants
wonderful to
to-
see you again.
Allie gives the widest fanged smile she can, trying to be friendly. And it's like, this is such a beautiful shop you have.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still set up the same way it was before, where she's got a bunch of bullshit out front and then
Yep.
the stuff's back? So I brought one of my friends, who is absolutely flush with coin, and we would like to see your prime stock.
Roll a persuasion check.
I think that's 20? 20.
All right, fine. Come on. But you keep your hands to yourself while you're inside here. All right?
Absolutely.
Come on. One of her family members will take over the store, lead you to the back. Room is filled with all manner of magical items of various different qualities. What can I do you for?
Allie kind of pauses and just goes, I am on a quest for the Lord of Neverwinter. Fraught with
Right.
danger.
I'm sure.
She kind of pulls out the letter of, like, the seal.
Sure.
I don't know much about magic, but I would like something to protect me.
Okay. You can buy a shield down the road if you don't know much about magic. This is a magic store, and if you want something magical, you've got to know something about magic to be able to use them.
That's why I'm here. I will be appraising any item that you present to us based on the description that she provides.
Appraising any item. I'm the one that will be telling you what the value of the items is.
Of course. But if you require your customers to be well versed in the ways of Arcana, um, then that's why I have come.
Fine. All right. You want something that protects you? Protects you from what?
Allie pauses in thought. Something that protects me from people hitting me.
Okay. Let me. I've got a few things that could work. A couple protective armaments. Tell me, do you find yourself in situations where you might need to avoid being hit often?
Allie nods.
And in those situations, what kind of temperament will you be under? What kind of activity will you be engaging in? Will you be benefiting from shield-like protection or something else?
Usually something to help me get away from them.
So you want to be moving quicker?
Yeah.
Very well. Very well. Well, I can... basically, she's trying to get a sense of mechanically, what are you going to make use of? She can give you heavy armor that gives you advantage on running away from creatures and stuff, but that's going to be useless to you because you don't use heavy armor. So,
Right.
like, mechanically speaking, what are you...
Allie's looking for something like a ring.
Okay, so just something simple, basic.
Yep, ring or boots.
All right. Well, if you're looking for something that'll move you along a little bit quicker, I can do you these, and she'll pull along a set of boots that are a set of boots of speed. Alternatively, if you're looking for straight up protection, I can do you a ring that will be a ring of protection.
Allie will point at the boots. Are they like fashionable looking boots or kind of like humdrum?
They look elvish made, look fairly good. They look like they've got little wings drawn on the sides of them, but they seem to be made out of leather, green tint to them.
Allie immediately points at the shoes and she's like, I want them.
Wonderful, wonderful. That'll be 20,000 gold pieces, please.
Allie looks at Kale like, ah! She goes, I couldn't possibly, Would it be possible to get a discount? After all, this is in the service to Neverwinter itself.
I met your friend yesterday, and the friend talked about a discount for all manner of reasons, good reasons, not having enough coin at the moment and all of that. And in the end of it, didn't have any coin. The transaction didn't go through as he couldn't actually afford it.
Allie is gonna pull out 650 gold on the table and just say, this is what I'm willing to spend.
Roll a persuasion check as she begins to giggle.
17 plus... That was persuasion? So 21
Persuasion.
total.
21. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to sell you the boots for such a low value. I could go as low as 15,000 gold pieces. But that's about it. As is the ring, a similar cost. If you're looking for a ring of protection.
Allie nods and then just says, I suppose I will simply have to buy something where we're going then.
That'll probably be best.
She thanks the woman for her time, scoops up the gold back into a pouch, and heads towards the door.
Okay.
Is this the only magical shop in town, out of character?
That's the one you went to.
Right. But there's other ones with maybe...
There might be locations to buy additional stuff, but one thing you would know is magic is rare and expensive right now.
Mm-hmm.
The prices that you're getting aren't outlandish for this time.
It's not really about the price.
This is about the seller.
A little bit.
Yeah. You'll be able to find one other place in town and that'll sell some magic items. They don't have a great selection. They don't have a lot of stuff, as mentioned in the description about the state of the world.
Mm-hmm.
People are hoarding magic items right now.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we leave Kagath's store, I'd like to ask, do you have any items that would be within our price range?
For 650 gold. Well, for 600, I have this medallion here, as we discussed yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you're being... I often find the best way to avoid being hit is to not get into a fight in the first place. So, and she'll reach out and pull out a cloak. Looks like it's made out of various different feathers, not feathers, leaves that are intertwined along the edge. This here cloak can aid you in hiding from people. Not going to help you very much in actual dangerous situations, but I'd prefer you don't get into such dangerous situations. Wouldn't want to see valuable customers get injured. And they'll both be 600 gold pieces.
Allie, is that something you would be interested in?
What does the medallion do?
It allows you to read thoughts.
I can read thoughts?
To a limited degree, yes.
How pretty is the amulet?
It's a skull.
Allie
It's a
sees the
golden skull with red rubies set in its eyes that seem to always just shimmer as you look at it.
Allie will look at it really close. She's clearly not pretending that she's interested, and she just kind of slams down the 600, and she's like, I'll take it.
Very well. And she'll scoop the 600 away from you and then reach out and give you the medallion of thoughts.
Allie.
Now, spending at least an hour at some point in your downtime, you'll have plenty of time today to be able to do so. You can identify and attune to this item. It does require attunement. The medallion of thoughts has 3 charges. While wearing it, you can use an action and expend 1 charge to cast the detect thoughts spell from it. Okay.
And do they recharge, or is it just 3 charges and
The
done?
medallion regains 1d3 charges daily at dawn. Now, your character sheet is set up in D&D Beyond. You should just simply be able to search for the item and add it to your character sheet. Okay?
Yep.
Cool. Anything else for y'all? Or is there anything anyone else in the group is doing before you set out on the road?
whilst we're walking around, I'd try to strike up a conversation with Nos. Like, Nos? Nos the Red, eh?
Also, what now?
The Red?
No, I have it.
The Red, your nickname, they call you the Red. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, are you a soldier? Have you been in many fights then?
Well, yeah. I've been in many fights. I'm not a soldier. I mean, I guess I could be.
If you're not a soldier, what kind of fights do you get yourself into?
Well, when I was living back in Westgate, I was a professional bounty hunter.
In Westgate? Well, that's a far away from here.
Yeah, it's not a hop and a skip. What about you? Where'd you come from?
Not too far from there, actually, in the Gothamere Woods, south of the Sea of Fallen Stars.
Oh yeah. That's super close.
Are you experienced in these, like, in a caravan guard type situation, going from point A to point B?
Sure, it's not my area of expertise, but I've done it before.
Well, I reckon you have more experience than me. And on our travels, I'll be looking to you for guidance. You just tell me
Sure.
where you need me.
Okay. Is that to say that you are unsure about handling yourself out there?
No, mate, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that you have more experience, so I'll defer to you with the more experience.
Sure. I don't know what you can do, so I'm gonna have to get a feel for that first before I would feel good about giving any kind of advice. But once that's accomplished.
All right, we'll wing it till then.
Quick question: are you a whiskey man, a rum man, or a tequila man, or cat man?
I like the rum. If I had my druthers, I'd pick the sweet stuff.
Happy birthday.
Oh, it's very generous of you. Thanks, mate.
I do not suggest drinking it all in one night.
Nah, I wouldn't do that. All right, then.
Anything else you folks will be doing before you set out?
Allie's gonna buy 5 scarves and a hat.
Okay. For a grand total of 6 gold pieces.
Okay. We're gonna have matching scarves.
All with, in small letters on the edge, I was part of the Inquisition and all I got was this scarf.
Yes.
All right, then as you guys finalize all of your preparations, you get everything you need, you grab the horses and the cart and the supplies that are given to you to be able to help you head out, and you are guided towards the south, yeah?
I wanted to see if I could get that cloak.
You want the Cloak of Elvenkind?
I want that Cloak of Elvenkind.
All right, it'll cost you 600 gold pieces.
I put 300 gold pieces on the counter and say, this is all the gold I have. Is there anything else I could trade you? I have the ability to heal people. Is that useful to you?
Only if you stayed and worked in the shop healing people for a couple of weeks. Roll me a persuasion check.
By the way, am I here?
I don't see any reason why you're not with them. Would you like to do the persuasion for them?
No, but I will suggest after we figure out the event, the result of this persuasion roll.
14.
What was it?
Or wait, so before I do it, I rub my lucky rock and cast guidance. I gotta remember I have that.
Okay.
And then I rolled a 10 plus 4 plus 2, so 16 total.
I'll give you the Cloak of Elvenkind for the 300 gold and that lucky rock of yours.
Oh, I'm afraid this is just a normal rock.
Perhaps.
Hey, buddy, if you're
Yeah, go
hurting
ahead.
for cash, or coin rather, we're gonna be on this mission together. I'm happy to invest as long as you don't immediately run off with that thing. If you do, I'll hunt you down.
I imagine it would make it much easier to evade you, as that's the point of the cloak. But
It wouldn't work.
I'm just being cheeky. Of course, I wouldn't run off. I wouldn't try and hide away from you and your dwarven companion either. I've seen how gruesome and brutal the two of you
Yes.
can be when you have a
You-
grudge.
You strike me as a man of intellect, and that would not be the intellectual decision.
Of course.
So how much you lacking?
300 gold pieces.
Fine, done.
Oh. Well, that was easy.
She'll turn to you, Nos, and say, "Pleasure doing business with you."
Now's the red. 1 minute.
Thank you, Kagath. And she'll take the 600 from the two of you and give you a cloak of elven kind.
Thank you very much, Nos the Red.
I'm gonna start calling her Nos the moneylender.
Nos the
No,
Gold.
please. That'll hurt my reputation.
So you will be led to the southern gate of Neverwinter, where you will be provided a horse each, and bags of food. There will be one spare horse provided to you all, to act more as a pack horse than anything else, and a reserve should there be an issue. So 6 horses in total. As you head out, we're going to take a 15-minute break, and we will rejoin the adventure as our party actually head off towards towards Silvery Moon via the high road south of Neverwinter. Join us in 15 minutes after we've had a quick drink and a relaxing moment. Welcome back, everyone. So we are glad to have you back after that quick break. Yes, exactly, Super Mega Kamiguru. Huzzah! So we rejoin the adventure as our party of heroes are setting out along the high road south of Neverwinter. Now, since all of the recent activities that have been happening, the high road is pockmarked in regular positions with certain locations which would be the equivalent of a service station, more or less. As you head down along the path, after traveling for about 6 hours or so, you'll see off to the edge, the eastern side of the road, a group of soldiers have cordoned off a section of the hillside just next to it, where there is a defended location for tents to be set up and people to camp out and still be protected. And you'll notice these a couple times. Your journey down the high road will be fairly uneventful. You will see people traveling back and forth, particularly right now. There are a lot of merchants all headed away from Neverwinter. A lot of people kind of ending and going home after the big parties and events. You're heading out early comparatively to the majority of people, but still the road is quite busy, so it tends to be a little bit more safe as well. After 2 days worth of travel, you will reach the Tribor Trail, where you have to break off and go up towards the northeast. Over those 2 days, is there anything in particular that you guys would have been doing?
Allie, one by one, would have been quartering her teammates and giving them their gifts. She would have gifted Wampum the mini keg of Thunderbelly Ale. Lefcadio would have gotten a hat and a scarf. And so Wampum would have gotten a scarf. Then Kale would have gotten the book, the children's magic book, and a scarf. And Nos would have gotten a scarf.
Well, that's a right fine scarf there.
It matches mine! And she pulls out her scarf, which is now conveniently covering the medallion she got.
Allie, You didn't need to do this.
It's because we're friends.
Well, Allie, I don't take gifts well, but me thanks ye. Me thanks ye from my heart.
Allie gives a warm smile to all of them and just goes, "Where I'm from, when you are good friends with someone, you give them something just to make sure that they know where you stand. And if
Well,
you don't like...
You know, since you gave me this, that you be doing a shot with me.
I'll make an exception and do one whole shot."
Okay. So Wampum taps it and pours out a small one for Allie and quite a larger one for himself. Tink.
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 It's got a good kick to it.
Allie's just kind of tearing up, like, it's really good.
I told you.
Yeah. Anything else?
I'd like to ply people for information about their backstory. Mostly Allie, I guess. Allie, where is it you said you were from?
Belgidere.
Belgidere. Where is that?
Allie lets out a chuckle and points down. And she goes, "It's in the Underdark."
Oh. I suppose I would ask what drove you away from that place, but I think that may be a little self-explanatory.
Yep. And she says, "It was a very nice place to grow up. They had lots of merchants."
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Who did you do trade with?
Well, my father was a jeweler. And, well, I never knew my mother, but there are traders from all over that come to Belgidere to trade. The whole city is based around trade. You'll find mind flayers, drow, humans even, trading, and the only real rule is you don't disrupt trade.
Wow.
And
Who
that is...
enforces that rule? Because, forgive me for saying so, but I've heard that mind flayers and drow aren't necessarily the most lawful individuals.
Well, there's really three sectors of the city. There are the Druigar, the Zentarum, and Teo, correct me if I'm wrong.
So perhaps I can step in here and make sure that the information Ali provides is, if Ali is going to be accurate, just going to help you and nudge you along with this. So Belgidere is a location which is a hub of trade for the four major races within the Underdark. The Duergar, the Zwerfneblin, which is Deep Gnome, and the Drow. Along with that, there is an enclave dedicated by humans, which is actually the Zentarum, as he mentions. The trade is held carefully, precariously, on a knife point, as each individual group has a particular leader that deals with any issues within their own section. And if ever there are crimes that go between the enclaves, then all four leaders get together and all four leaders punish those involved. No one really... It's very much a stalemate kind of situation. No one's willing to really try the first move for fear that that might put them out of balance and make them open for an attack. As such, it is fairly tenuous, but still a peace nonetheless. Lots of trade.
That's a very detailed explanation, Allie. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do you know, forgive me if this is a touchy question, but do you know from where your fiendish heritage comes?
Did the horns give it away?
The horns, the general disposition, the skin color. The wings, especially. Definitely the wings.
That pony tail did it for me.
My father says that my grandmother, or my grandfather, I always forget which one. I'm terrible with important notes like that, but said that one day they fell in love with a succubus. Now, I don't know if he's lying to me. My father often lied to me, but that's all in the past now. I'm here now.
I
And
see. Okay.
Now, historically speaking, there are plenty of gentlemen who claim to have been charmed by a succubus and to excuse some of their infidelities in the past. But in the case of a tiefling telling you that their ancestor was, probably this guy was telling the truth.
Okay, I'm gonna write down Ellie was lying. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. I know sometimes your people aren't, willing to talk about that sort of thing. I understand to a certain degree what it's like to not really fit very well anywhere. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm half elven and half human, and we do share something in common in that neither of us knew our mothers.
is that who you're searching for?
Yes. If you've heard of her, if you've heard that name at any point in time, I don't imagine she would be in the Underdark, but how would I know?
Teo, would I have heard that name or even cared to have known that name? I'm assuming
Almost
no.
impossible.
Yeah.
Like DC 50 check at that point.
Allie goes, nope, never heard of her. But I will most definitely keep my eye out if you want to give me a description or draw her.
I've never seen her, but I imagine she looks a lot like me.
So it's narrowed down to every half-elf.
Well, full elf. I know that she's a full. She was the elven half. My father was the human.
Allie, would I have had time to attune to the medallion at this point?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Allie is going to attempt to read Kale's mind, but she's going to let him know. She's just going to be like, just so I can have a picture of your family, maybe it will help me. I don't know what this medallion does.
Okay.
So she just wants him to imagine real hard what he thinks his sister would look like.
His mum.
Yeah, his mom.
Okay, so casting detect thoughts from it still requires the verbal and the somatic components to be able to do it. Initially, you just learn all of his surface thoughts.
Okay.
So right now, Kale, what are you thinking about?
So she wants him to picture his mom. So he'll just... it's just himself, and his dad is kind of in there too. It was kind of like just a typical like Western European medieval guy, a miller or something.
What do you know about your mother?
Only that her and my father met very briefly, and that she dropped me off at Fort Tamar not long after my birth. She fought in a war against a goblinoid host at some point before I was born. I'm not sure what the gestation period is for elves, actually. Probably something I should find out.
That's something a DM needs to double check. How long is pregnancy for an elf? All right.
With a half elf. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yes, that's all that I know. My father never heard from her again. And that's it. I'd never really thought to look for her until very recently, but I suppose it's not relevant to our discussion right now.
And where's your dad now?
Oh, he's dead. He's died.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I was never particularly close to him. I always got the feeling he thought of me as an error in judgment. I was kind of a reminder that he had made a mistake one night before the war, but he treated me kindly enough, and he took care of me for as long as he felt he needed to. So I don't hold any grudge against him or anything, and he led a good life with a good woman and had another family of all human children that were very pleasant. You know, El Terrell was a great place for him. I didn't really care for it too much myself, but he died of old age peacefully, and he left me this book, like pat at the satchel at his side that he keeps his book in.
And I'm still reading his mind, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Okay. So is that why you came to Neverwinter?
Yes. Yes, I got hold of the book, and then I heard that there was a festival going on in Neverwinter, and I thought it would be a great gathering of these sort of people that had seen much of the world, and I thought I should ask around. And along the way, I met up with Lefkadio over there, and we shared the road together for several months.
How'd you meet?
Well, all roads from the south lead through the Borskier Bridge and past Fort Tamar. And on my way out, after I had finished packing, he just happened to be there, and he was on the way to the same place. So it was really just a bit of serendipity, I guess.
Well, thank you for sharing. I hope one day I will go down south as well. I've never seen it.
It's varied. I won't tell you the whole thing's beautiful, but there's good and bad parts. I hope that detecting my thoughts helped.
The vision that you had while he was communicating pretty much confirmed everything, and he was thinking on point with everything that he explained. The descriptions of his mother brought images in his mind of a fairly beautiful elven individual, but almost like a bad case of Photoshop, just his face in place of hers.
So beautiful.
Yes. Very beautiful. All right. Anything else that you guys are doing over the couple days ride?
During downtime, I'll whip out my shakuhachi, which is this big ol' bamboo root flute that plays these low dulcet tones. Run that a little bit. Butterfly will land on the end.
You'll be playing that well?
No, I don't know. The butterfly could just think that it's salty.
Fair enough. Would you like to roll a performance check?
Sure.
To see how good you are? Or rather, would there be any other skill that you would be applying to the playing of this that would show off your skills?
I've already rolled it, and I got a 4, so it hurts everybody's ears. Butterfly doesn't care because it can't understand what's going on. So.
Yeah.
So Nas, can I ask you a question instead of you playing that for a minute?
Okay.
Where was it you said you were from again?
Westgate.
And that is
Dragon Coast.
Dragon Coast. So I heard you mention that maybe south of Gothamir? Or
Where's that again?
That's me.
Oh no. It's west.
West. Well, Westgate, west of that. Makes sense. Do you know if your people at any point in time engaged in a war against the Kingdom of Eltergard? Not that I'm casting any aspersions, just for purely historical reasons.
Westgate's a free port town, so they don't really have too many alliances. Last time there was a large domination type event, it was it was regarding the bitch queen.
The bitch queen.
She who lords over the sea.
Oh. Umberly.
Yeah. Don't say her name out loud. It helps her somehow. You shut up.
She who must not be named.
You're not like being discreet about the conversation, right?
No. I was trying to very visibly trying to get her to stop playing her flute.
Wampum is sharpening his axe, just laughing. I've I've been trying to do that for a time now.
Hey, the only way to get better is to practice.
True.
Nos, I reckon Kale was talking more about your kin, the goblin type, and less so the place where you applied your trade.
Oh, I haven't been a part of that, and well, I was goes to like shin length, that big.
Oh, so you left the Legion very early on.
Yeah, we were part of a. Our banner was part of a larger contingency that was a member of the Cloven Mountains.
Mountains.
And there was a war, small scale war, across that body of water, the Deep Wash, and we lost against the lizard folk that were on the northern banks, and instead of recollecting with the larger grouping of Gabos, decided to go north instead.
Let's see. And how is it that you and Master Thunderbelly here came to know each other?
Oh, he found me in Luskin, actually. I came over here, I don't know, about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years. And he walked into a tavern, and he looked like a good drinker and a jolly fellow, so I thought I'd spend my night with him, and he ended up being fairly entertaining. And after enough drinks to forget what I looked like, he invited me to help him on his mission, which we have been on together the past year.
I see. And do either of you think that your next target may be in Silvery Moon?
That's a question to ask him.
I heard me be hearing that they be sticking towards the Sword Coast, so we may be traveling further away.
Curious then, why did you so readily agree to Lord Belgidere's mission?
Adventure, he says.
For me, I'm not allowed in Neverwinter without him.
Of course.
It would be nice to be welcome somewhere that isn't Luskin. Which, Luskin's plenty colorful, but not exactly where I want to retire.
Doesn't seem like a terrible place for an adherent to Timora.
Neverwinter? Yeah.
No, Luskin. Just seems like a place where you could... I've heard, I've never been myself, but it sounds to me like a place where good fortune is maybe in short supply.
Luskin be a pretty town, he says. It's just the guilds in Luskin, they's got themselves an attitude problem.
So it would seem.
Also, it's a whole lot of like espionage and spy crap and stuff that I'm not good at.
I see.
Me's too away from taking care of that attitude problem.
I had always heard that Luskin was terrible.
It's not that bad, but yeah, it's a little rough.
Little rough. Right.
It's not a Westgate. It's not.
Fair
Comparably, Luskin is better.
Well, I'm sure we'll have to... Well, I'm sure at least you guys will find your way back there at some point. I hope that we're still together by then. At the very least, I'd like to see your stories, he says, pointing to Nos and Wampum, come to some sort of a conclusion.
It'll be happening soon enough, he says.
I'm sure your perception of time is a bit different than ours. So soon for you may be quite a bit longer for the rest of us, but I appreciate the optimism.
We dwarves have patience.
Something all of us can learn from, I'm sure.
These officers got some temper too.
I've seen, yes.
So, Wampum, how did you kill the first one?
Me axe?
Did you chop his head off?
No. That actually, me girl kept me from getting too violent. Me says she keeps me under control.
Now, your definition of too violent. Delve into that a bit.
Well, Mr. Kale, let's just say they made me see a lot of blood. So me's gonna make them see as much blood as they made me see.
But you were held back to some degree by your friend Nos with this first individual.
She keeps me steady.
That kind of stuff is the whole revenge bout is a slippery slope, and you don't want to become, the people that you're after.
So does that mean if you found one of them and they were sorry and in front of their family, you would still kill them, or wouldn't?
Oh yes. They be some dead individuals.
I might try to shoo the children off into the next room first before he gets at it, though.
There's the line.
The children.
Allie just kind of nods and goes silent and kind of shuffles over towards where Lefkadio's sitting. Doesn't say anything else.
And when children is brought up, you are reminded that that was pretty much the turn point when people stopped arguing over price and started just accepting the Lord Protector's task.
Yes.
Everyone has a soft spot for children.
Like me was telling you, I is a lawful dwarf, but me can only reach a certain point before we get violent.
Well, that's good to know. After seeing a display of what you would describe as not too violent the other day, I am inclined to make sure your rage is directed away from me.
Deal, Mr. Kale, deal.
I told you he was the smart one.
Okay. So, as you guys are continuing to move on, making your way through the road, you turn off the high road into the less beaten path towards Tribor. You know Tribor being a fairly populous town, what with it being on a perfect crossroads. The point which Tribor sits, it connects the long road from Mirabar down to Waterdeep, to also the Tribor Trail that mixes in with the Evermore Way up towards the east. It's a perfect crossroads, this little town. So the trail is travelled sometimes, but right now it's fairly empty. Towards the end of your first day of travelling along this trail, you'll see another of these caravansaries set up on the side of the road, though this one has a bit of a different look to it. No guards in particular, no, not a group of guards, not set up. There aren't many tents set up yet, there's only 2 or 3, and the only people stood there are 3 rather large, heavily armoured dragonborn individuals stood up there at the entrance to this established caravansary. As you begin to approach, you can choose to camp out in the caravansary for the night, continue moving on, or find your own place. What would you guys like to do with this situation presented before you?
Keep your eyes open, me girl.
So these guys, they don't look like they are guards at the caravansary?
No.
Just dudes?
Up until now, you've seen fairly official-looking individuals acting as protection on these campsites. These guys don't look like they're carrying any sort of signifying any sort of signal for any of the local towns. Everyone that you've seen so far has either been a guard of the city of Neverwinter, or someone with another city's sign. These guys, they're off the beaten path. They don't have any sort of mark of a town, and the way they're armored, it doesn't shout out honor a guard. Just
Allie is gonna slink off and just kind of watch from off the road. I will roll a stealth check if you want, because she's definitely trying not to be seen.
Right.
16 plus. Let's see. Is it...
Nice.
16 plus 10, 26.
So, stepping away from this, trying to think of the situation that you're in, you've got a long road that is more of a trail, some open field area on both sides, some forested area quite a distance away, but it is a fairly open plain.
Okay.
You roll a 26 for your stealth check, but what are you hiding behind?
And there's no walls, so it's basically just open field on either.
Pretty
side.
much. The caravansary is on a slightly raised area, like a hill that's been cultivated to be a high position in this point, but there's no real hiding places.
Okay, she'll probably just be using the elevation to try and keep the opposite side of the caravansary.
Okay. Fair enough.
Nos, this is your area of expertise. Just tell me what to do if you need me to do anything. I'm ready.
What are we doing? I mean, why are we ready?
I don't know. Do they look aggressive? Just
Alarm bells ring with them. Passive insight indicates this doesn't look right.
Well, I mean, the way that I have it in my mind is just like, you said 4 Dragonborn just standing there?
3 Dragonborn just stood there, heavy armor, at the entrance to what should be a campsite for merchants and people to safely camp out at. There are these 3 Dragonborn just stood there.
I'll approach him, because I don't know anything about the situation. Might as well find out more. Yo.
Yo.
What up? What it is?
It is.
True that. True that.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys good? You guys good here?
We good. Yep.
No problems.
You good?
I'm good.
Good.
Are the oh.
You should know there's a bit of a danger around here.
Danger like how?
Well, these parts are tough. Lots of dangerous people around.
Are there other Biomniri inside?
Well, this here fella, Kima, he's pretty dangerous. And this here fella, Lacken, he's pretty dangerous too. But me, I'm the worst of them all.
Oh yeah, big guy. How's that?
Yeah. I don't even want to show you
You're a
what it takes
rascal.
to be able to take down me.
That real. Me and my party
Look.
here, we're just traveling through. You guys got the numbers. You mind if we flip in there and camp out?
You can camp at our place, but you gotta give us a little bit of tribute to protect you.
It's the shakedowns, what this is.
From the dangers and the difficult things. Don't want Kima or Lucan to accidentally rough you up.
Well, how about this? You three and me. And this bottle of Tetherian tequila. Is that enough?
Roll a persuasion check.
Well,
She said 12.
12. Oh, I didn't hear you say anything.
yeah. 12
Okay,
question mark.
12.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a nice bottle you got there. How about you give me the bottle?
You don't want the company?
I don't know. Never had hobgoblin before.
And hearing that, Wampum is just going to walk up or take the horse and put it right, between them. That be me girl.
No, that's
Well-
alright. We're just
You need to pay to stay here.
Not liking the idea.
Then you can step off.
no. Who cares? This isn't a big enough deal to get any feathers rustled here. Just take this tequila. I don't care.
No, me girl. No. Ye not insulting me, girl, and not apologizing.
Really don't care.
I want
Like-
you to apologize to me, girl.
This is gonna end up in a fight. I like these guys. I don't want to fight them. You want to fight me?
Make me, little man.
So you saying a fight just between me and you?
Just between we and you.
That's about even odds.
They got that breath, old man. I don't know. They can just circle you and flambe you.
During their conversation, would I be able to sneak up closer?
They're distracted enough that I would say yes
Okay.
to your stealth check.
All right.
So, what'll it be? You gonna
9.
What you were saying, how a good fighter you are. So, I's a challenging you, Mr. Good Fighter.
one-on-one?
Uh-huh.
He looks back at his friends.
I, you, and me.
Uh-huh.
Let's go. Roll initiative.
I'm gonna go stand next to the two Dragonborn friends and just kind of ensure that this stays between.
I'm going to have everyone roll initiative because I'm also rolling initiative for the two friends.
All right.
I rolled good for once.
Me
Oh
too.
my God.
That was my first natural 20 of the game.
Yay!
Okay. So, did anyone roll higher than a 20?
20.
Okay.
24.
22.
Okay. So we have Ali with 24, Kale with 22, and Lafcadio with 20.
I also got a 20.
Hmm?
I also got a 20.
Oh, okay. Nos with 20. Okay.
Jeez.
Who's going first out of the two of you?
You wanna?
After you.
So Nos, 20.
And-
Wampum,
17.
17. Okay, not bad. Wampum, 17. Okay. We got... Alright. Cool. So as this happens, Ali, you're positioning yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, strictly speaking, everyone else is still in the initiative order. But unless you feel the need to get involved, I'm not really going to be calling on you guys so much.
Yeah. Allie would just be waiting. If the other two guys get involved, that's when I would step in.
If there is anything that you guys would choose to do to get involved, then you can do.
If I see the fight shaping up, I will try to gather the horses and take them away from the fight.
Okay, fair enough. All right, then Wampum, the guy that squared off against you, is a little bit quicker than you.
Mm-hmm.
She runs right up to you, drawing out a longsword as he does, and tries to shoulder barge you.
Okay.
Okay, to try and shove you. I need you to roll either an athletics or an acrobatics check.
Athletics, 12 plus 8, 20.
Okay. He's unable to shove you. Just kind of bounces up against you. So instead, he just swings down with the longsword. That'll be a 19 to hit.
That misses.
He misses. All right.
And I am going to use a die, and I'm going to repost him.
Okay.
And that's going to be a 16 plus 8, 20, 23, 24.
24 is going to cut into his plate armor. Yes.
And that is going to be a total of 15 points of damage.
Okay. Which type?
That's going to be slashing.
Slashing. Okay. Does that include your superiority die?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The,
Right.
the superiority die was 7 on top of that. So it was a 7 and a 3 plus 5.
Sounds good. So then that was you in reaction to that.
Right.
Next up would be Nos, if Nos is going to get involved, and then Lafcadio. Do any of you do anything?
I will officially reserve my action in case they move the.
Okay. All right. As of right now, the other ones aren't quite getting involved yet. So Wampum, you are up next.
Alright, first attack. 11 plus 8, 19.
19 is going to hit.
And I need him to make a wisdom save, DC 16.
Okay. He succeeds on the wisdom save.
Okay, he is going to take 12 points of damage.
Okay.
Second attack. That's going to be a 21.
That's going to hit.
I need him to make another wisdom save, please.
This time he fails the wisdom save.
He is frightened of me, and he's
Okay.
going to take 17 points of damage.
Ooh. Right. It's a powerful swing as you cut into him. All right. Anything else from you?
That's it.
Okay. Seeing him get cut down so considerably, so quickly, one of the friends is going to get involved.
No, you don't.
Nos, what are you doing?
I am going to. Well, actually, let's see. I'm going to attempt to restrain him. I know it will be tough,
Okay.
but I don't want to hurt him right off the bat.
Athletics against his athletics or acrobatics.
18.
He manages to hold you off.
All right.
All right. He will move forward, and he's going to use his dragon breath on Wampum. Okay. Positioned in the way that he was, with everyone kind of separated away, this dragon breath, even though it would be a cone, isn't going to hit anyone else. So I just need Wampum to roll a dexterity saving throw.
17 plus 2, 19.
Okay. You managed to save from the dragon breath, so you take half damage.
Well, I got shield mastery, so I'm just going to ignore the other.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And I'm just going to put my shield up, and then it's kind of burning. I'm going to bring the shield down and smile. You're next!
Okay. Roaring at you, top of the round, Ali. Looks
All
like
right.
the friends are going to get involved. What are you going to
Well, Allie's gonna fire her crossbow right into their backs. Or one of their backs.
Right.
With a, let's see what my modifier is. I have a +7, so that is 6 + 7, 14. And that's with me rolling both of them.
Yeah, that's just going to bounce off the plate armor. Anything else from you?
Allie will take a half her movement speed to go towards them.
Okay. All right. So everyone is, as of right now, in close proximity to them. So don't necessarily worry about specific distances. All right. Kale.
I'll cast. Kale will just shout a single word in Draconic, assuming they understand that. Sorry, he's undead, doesn't understand language. Yeah, so he's gonna shout in Draconic, "Sit," and cast command at 2nd level on the 2 friends. And then you make a DC 16 Wisdom save.
Okay. I have 1 success, 1 failure.
Okay, so the one who just breathed, I guess.
Yeah, the one that just breathed will be the one that fails. The one that wasn't succeeded. So what happens to him?
He sits down.
Okay. Does he sit down now or on his turn? Like
I believe it's on his turn.
On his turn. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else from you, Kale?
Nope.
All right. Well, next up is actually the guy up against Wampum, the big guy. He's not happy. He's taken quite a beating. So he is just going to pull out a short sword as well. And with a long sword in one hand and a short sword in the other, he's going to make 3 attacks. The first attack, that is a natural 20.
Ooh!
Gotcha.
Right. So that will deal 2d8. Ooh. That'll be a grand total of 18 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
As it cuts down on you. Second attack will be a 20 to hit.
That misses.
Misses. All right. And then third offhand attack with the short sword, a little bit weaker. That's a 3. That's going to miss. All right. He'll then end his turn. Next up, we have Nos. What are you doing?
So I've had a irritating 10-day or two. It started with being called Kale calling the cops on us, and then it just evolved from there, playing the game that I screwed up and thus made a guy pee his pants. And then there was Kale telling me how to worship my deity, and now these Dragonborn and someone fighting for my honor, which I did not ask for them to do. So all of this is going to come bubbling up to the surface, and I crack my neck, and I pull my glaive out, give it 1 spin, and then I will go into a rage and fly after the unhindered Dragonborn. That is
Okay. All right. So he's pretty close to you, in particular, this guy. What do you want to do with him?
Oh, I'm going to cut him. That's a 24.
That is definitely going to hurt.
So that is 17 slashing.
Okay.
Magical. And then as I cut him, the end of my glaive lights up with these golden sparks and starts searing at him, and does 8 additional points of radiant damage.
Ooh.
And then I'll give it a 360 spin and come back around with a 16.
The 16 is going to miss.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else from you?
Nope.
All right, Lafcadio.
I will cast Hex, the bonus action, on the sitting Dragonborn.
Okay.
Dragonborn, the one who's not engaged with anyone, because he's not sitting yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will, with my action, throw my net upon him.
Okay. All right. So, which skill are you putting at disadvantage?
Oh, strength. So yeah,
Strength.
strength checks will be at disadvantage. And to hit with my net, I roll an 18.
Okay. You successfully wrap the net around him. He is restrained. Okay. This is the guy that was just commanded.
Yep.
He's also restrained. Anything else from you, Lafcadio?
That's it.
Okay. Next up is, in fact, the guy that was... this is the guy that was up against Nos. So, taking a bit of a brunt. Not happy. Did you hand over the tequila?
No,
Okay,
that
fair
deal
enough.
never got actually made.
Never got made. All right. He is going to try to position himself to group the fire breath on you and at least one other person. So who is anyone within 15 foot of Nos right now? I would believe...
I'm standing right next to the guy who's going to be sitting down. So if that's...
Yeah. So pretty close. All right. So in this situation, I'm going to need Nos and Lafcadio to roll dexterity saving throws.
18.
18. Okay, that's a success.
11.
That's going to be a failure. Okay. So Nos takes half damage. Lafcadio takes the full. "19 points of fire damage is the full, so halved down to 9 points of fire damage to Nos. Okay, and then with his fire breath done, that'll be it for him. Wampum, what are you doing?
I am swing, and I forgot he had disadvantage on his last attacks, but I'm going to swing again.
Because he's frightened of you.
Yep.
Yep.
13 plus 8, 21.
21 is going to hit.
That's going to be 12 points of damage.
Okay.
And second attack is going to be a 9 and 8, 17. But I'm going to use a superiority die for to increase that.
Okay.
What is that? That is precision strike.
Yep.
And that is another 3.
All right, so that
that's
is going
20.
to hit.
And that is 8 plus 5 is 13.
Okay. You strike him down with this swing, and he drops to the floor. No response. No cry in pain. Just in one quick swing, he is down.
I'm going to step on his face.
Okay.
And head over to the one that is not netted.
Yeah, okay. The one up against Nos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And say, I told you, you're next.
Okay.
Leave me girl alone and you can live.
Right.
I can fight my own fights, old man.
We now have the netted individual. He is restrained. He was commanded. He's going to use his action to sit down, as he failed the command. There's nothing else that he can do on his turn, right? Can't take any other actions, so
Correct.
he's just going to sit down. Restrained. His speed is 0. That's properly stuck him down. Ali, what are you going to do?
All right, can I use my cunning action which is a bonus action during my turn, to go back into stealth.
You can do. What are you hiding behind?
Let's see. So am I currently behind them, as one is currently netted and the other one's facing away from...
Yeah, you're kind of in a bit of a circle sort of situation right now. Everyone kind of surrounding the one that's netted and the one that's still alive.
Okay.
You are in an open field, so there's not really much
Yeah.
for you to hide behind.
All right. Then I am going to use it to dash towards them, and I'm going to attempt to make a short sword attack.
Okay, go ahead and attack.
All right, and I will be attacking the one that is... If I attack the one that's netted, it's an advantage, correct?
Yes, you have advantage on the attack.
Perfect, so that is what I'm going to do. And that would be a natural 20.
That's definitely going to hit.
And then, let's see. And
day
since
for
I
those
have
nat 20s.
advantage on... Yeah, and since I have an advantage on the attack roll... Sorry, I also do sneak attack damage, correct?
Yep.
And that would be 46.
So it'll be 8d6.
8d6, and then I also can make a crossbow attack, because I have the crossbow feat. At another
Okay,
target.
so roll the damage for that crit first.
Okay.
Okay. So you're using a short sword, so
Yep,
it's...
so 1d6 plus 4.
Okay. It's
And then-
2d6 because it's a crit.
Okay.
So 2d6 plus 4 for the attack.
So 12 damage.
12 damage, and then roll the sneak attack, which is 8d6 because it's crit.
Oh no! Oh, well, I lost a dice. I'll grab one. There we go. Alright. 6, 8, 13, 17, 21, 24, 30, 31.
31. Okay. Powerful swing. All right. Anything else from you?
And then the attack with the crossbow at the other target,
Okay.
which is not advantage.
Oh.
And that would be an 18 plus 7, so 25.
25 will hit.
All right, and doing 1d6 plus 4. 8 damage.
All right. He is very heavily injured on the floor where he is. Anything else for you?
That will be it.
Okay. Cool. Then after Ali, we have Kale. What are you doing, Kale?
I'd like to approach the guy that Wampum maybe killed and see if he's not dead.
Okay. Roll the medicine check. That
15.
sounded uncomfortable. 15, you say?
Yes.
By the way in which his blood is just gushing out of a huge wound on his chest, and you swear you can even hear his heart beating slowly and less. He is dying right now. If you do something specific, you could keep him alive. Otherwise, he's going to die in the next 2 seconds.
Spare the dying?
You cast Spare the Dying on him. Okay.
Yeah.
He is stabilized. The wound closes up ever so slightly.
Neat.
All right. Anything else from you?
Nope. I'm good.
Then it would be his turn, but he's unconscious. Nos.
The one that I was tangling with is now down, right?
No, the one you were tangling with is still up. The other one is down on the floor, nearly dead.
Okay. Gonna keep dancing with the one that I'm dancing with.
Okay.
I'm going to use the flat of my blade again. Attack non-lethally. 26.
26 is definitely going to hit.
17 slashing.
Okay. All right. Anything else from you?
5 radiant damage, divine fury. Not much I can do about the magical damage there.
Yep.
And then
He is rebuked.
Last attack is a 23.
That 23 is going to hurt him.
That's 12 points of damage.
As your weapon connects with him, he goes down.
Excellent. I will then use my action surge to step over to the other one and attack again. 17.
He's currently wrapped in a net, so you have advantage on the attack.
17?
That's going to miss.
Okay. And then 23.
23 will hit.
16 points.
15?
16.
16. Okay. How do you kill him?
I'm just going to bonk him on the side of the head with the flat of the blade. Just stay down.
So all three of these guys, in a very quick fashion, all unconscious. All now on the floor. One is still wrapped up in the net. What do you want to do with their bodies?
I'm gonna find a tree to tie them to.
Okay.
That's outside of the camp.
Mm-hmm. They will come to consciousness in an hour. How are you tying them up?
With rope.
Okay.
Just put all their backs to a large tree trunk, and then so that if one pulls, the rest of the other two will feel it.
Well,
okay.
Is there any sort of? I assume we can proceed into the camp at this point.
Absolutely, unhindered. You're the only people in that camp.
Okay. What sort of facilities are there, if any, or is it just like a circle?
It's just a campsite.
Okay.
There is a small little mounding of earth that kind of indicates where the worn earth has kind of limited, where people have been camping, but that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'll just help Nos tie these guys up to a tree.
Okay.
Should we take their armor off and the weapons?
I was about to say, I'm going to de-armor them too.
Yep. Pile their weapons.
Leave them in their box of shorts.
So you have 3 sets of damaged plate armor and 3 long swords, 3 short swords. If you loot through their belongings that they had near where they were fighting, you will find that there were also 3 heavy crossbows that hadn't been used, and quite a few items that had obviously been considered contraband that they had taken as tribute from other people. You can find some more wines, some food, very succulent meat that you doubt these people probably hunted and killed themselves, as well as a little pouch of 15 gold pieces.
I think I'll leave some food. And
leave the food.
The rest.
Okay.
I don't really have quite an eye for quality armor and arms, but I might be able to repair this plate mail if you think it would be worthwhile to bring it along with us. If we could load it on the pack horse. What do you say?
We could get some cash for it, but I don't.
Well, I think we got 3 more pack horses, don't we?
Yes, these guys did have their own horses. So if you would like to take their horses, you can do.
Well, I'll maracas of mending over the plate armor, and we'll load up the gear on horses.
Now,
How many?
So each of these plate armor sets weighs 65 pounds. Okay, so pretty heavy stuff.
Does anyone mind if I take one of the crossbows?
Nope.
All right, Ali snags one of the heavy crossbows.
If there are any extra bolts, because I show my holstered hand crossbow. It's like I could use some extra ammunition.
Yeah, how many crossbow quarrels were there?
So quivers, there was only 3 quivers, so only enough for, I think, a quiver of bolts is only 10 bolts, so it's 30 bolts that you find.
Ali hands them over to Lefkadio.
Thanks, mate.
Okay. It's worth. Yeah. I'll make a note. If you're taking the 3 extra riding horses, they have carrying capacities of 480 pounds apiece.
Cool.
Okay.
So, are we going to stay here, or do you guys think we should press on a bit? Because that would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
I'd be looking for a rest about now.
Well, I was just thinking maybe we don't want to be, we'd want to put a little bit of distance between us and them.
I don't think we have to worry about that anymore. We've established dominance.
If you're
Well,
that
if you're
worried
not
about
worried.
it, we can just put them out of their misery.
No, that's all right.
Seems a bit excessive.
Which,
I'm
by
not
the way,
overly
Kale,
worried. I
thank
just
you.
thought, oh, yes,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
For saving that one.
Of course. Yeah, well, if you guys want to stay here, that's fine with me.
I'm sorry, me girl. I just was I was seeing a little red there.
I see what you did there. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I might have got a little overexcited there myself. I saw what you were trying to do, and it was a nice gesture. But yeah, it's words. Who cares about words?
Me do.
Why? What does anything mean?
It'd be an honor. It'd be an honor. Days disrespecting my girl.
Well, if it was someone important like Belgidere, yeah. But
No.
These guys.
Dwarves don't take to no dishonor.
I'm not a dwarf.
Me is.
Yeah, well, actions speak louder than words to me. If we had ended up over the campfire sharing alcohol and becoming friends, that probably would have been my preference.
Well, I let you try that. I did.
I was still going.
Didn't work, did it?
I was still going.
If you guys camp out here, after an hour, you all hear quite clearly what sounds like a burst of flame and then scurrying of feet. You rush over to investigate the individuals that you tied up. The rope has been charred and burned. And footprints seem to indicate that they ran away from you into the Neverwinter Wood north of you.
As expected.
Leaving you alone in the campsite.
Take my front rope.
Perfect.
The rope is charred quite considerably and damaged. It's practically useless. It's just little pieces of rope.
How many places is it charred in? Just one? Because I can split the rope and then tie it back together. Or, hey, Lufcadio, how about them maracas?
I'm happy to see what it does.
I don't think the maracas of mending would work in this particular way because it's not like it's dented or broken. Pieces of the rope have turned to ash and floated away. I don't think the maracas of mending do quite that well.
We can reattach the pieces that are still together.
Yeah.
Yes, and you could do that. So all in all, you can cut it down to a 30-foot piece of rope.
Perfect.
Instead of a 50-foot. All right.
Perfect.
You guys can camp out here, but obviously this is a site where you just dealt with some ruffians, so it's probably best that you guys keep watches over the night, and you are alone when you start the night. So are there any sort of precautions that you guys take as you're setting up your camp, other than just taking watches yourselves?
Yeah. Would Allie be able to use her poisoner's kit? Locate any specific herbs or ingredients nearby, or?
So you're gonna go like foraging for herbs?
Yeah, but not too far away that I'm out of distance from the group.
Okay. Yes, you can go out and start looking for some herbs. make a nature-based check.
All right. Where is my nature score? 1. I got an 8.
An 8. Okay. You struggle. After about an hour while everyone's setting up your camp, you come back to the camp without any additional herbs needed for crafting poisons. Okay. Any other sort of precautions that you might be taking with the campsite?
We want a fire.
Sure.
I mean, don't we all have dark vision?
Yeah, we don't have warmth.
I mean,
What time of year is it, by the way?
This is summertime.
Okay.
We do have warmth. Just kidding.
not saying we wouldn't want to finish all 3 of them off, but now that they be roaming the countryside, I'm beginning to think like Mr. Kale here, and I think we might want to go a couple hours down the road.
Perhaps. Let me double check. Let me ask somebody real quick. And Kale will go through his satchel, like one of the other smaller pockets on his satchel, and will pull out like a set of elk bone, and he'll say some words in Sylvan, and then he'll just cast the elk bone on the ground and cast the augury spell, asking if camping out here would be a good idea or not.
So, augury is able to indicate if any particular action that you might take in the next 30 minutes is positive.
Or negative.
Or negative. Or both. Or neither. You get the sense that it could be either. It could be both.
Okay, so weal and woe is what I get back.
Yeah, weal and woe is what you get.
So, if we stay here, everybody, something good and something bad will happen. So, balance. Up to you. I honestly couldn't care either way.
Well, if you ain't be caring, then we be sleeping.
All right.
Okay. All right. Then, as you guys set up your camp, who is taking the first watch?
I will.
Okay.
Allie would argue with that and say that she can take first watch.
I ain't be trusting them. They still be angry. I be taking first watch.
Master Dwarf, you were the most injured in that fight. I think it's really best if you take your rest. You can count on me to watch your back for first watch.
Me skin be still thicker than yours.
But I be sneakier.
Mates, there's no need to fight. You can both take the first watch. I'll take the second watch.
I guess, Wampum, how do you feel? Do you feel okay? Do you need a little pick-me-up?
I have a what did the DM say was going to be the order of things?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Which things are you referring to?
You gave us an example of what you were going to be calling. There we go. I think I got it.
So, if you're anywhere between 150% you are wounded, anywhere between 50% and 25% you are heavily wounded, and dropped down to single figures, you take a knee.
I am slightly wounded.
All right. Well, just to make things better for everybody, just to make everybody feel a little bit better, I'll help you out. And he'll walk up, and what are the components for this? Spoke on somatic. He'll say a quick word in Sylvan again, and then he'll slap him on the shoulder and cast Cure Wounds at 4th level.
Nice.
So that'll be Increase it by 1d8 for each slot. So that's 48 total. That's 6, 10, 18 plus 5. So 23 health.
Okay.
Back.
So I think he should be fine by now, right, Wampum?
Yes, I am perfectly hunky-dory.
All right. I'm sure you'll be very alert for your watch.
Thank you, Mr. Kale. I be feeling much better.
You are so welcome, he'll say in Dwarvish.
Okay. While Wampum and Ali are taking the first watch kind of together but separate, both of you go ahead and roll perception checks.
And if it's lower than our natural perception,
I'll take your passive perception.
my passive is 18.
Okay.
Passive of 16.
Okay. All right. While you guys are keeping watch, you hear quite loudly coming from the forest to the north. Then the scraping of earth being dragged. And then a scream. What do you do?
Allie is going to untie her cloak and fly up 30 feet above the camp.
Okay. Flying up in the air, you've just got the forest, the Neverwinter wood forest that's very dense, thick trees north of you. There are some trees dotted south, but quite far away. What are you guys doing?
Wampum will walk to the edge of camp between the camp and where the sound came from.
Okay. As you begin to get closer, you hear more of these mighty roars of anger. Then you hear a thud, a crack. Sounds like a tree is being felled. Another roar of power.
Is it coming closer to the camp?
Yeah, would I be able to see the felling of the tree, or?
You'd see a bit of a shift in the canopy. Yeah. It's about, I'd say, about 150 foot into the tree line, so a good distance away. It's not getting any closer. And as Ali looks over the top, it looks like every couple seconds, when each of these mighty roars happens, it seems to you see a shudder and a shift of tree line, as if a tree had just been struck at the bottom.
All right, Allie's just going to keep a watch on it right now. She kind of motions down to Wampum, and she just kind of points the direction that it's coming from and the direction the trees that are falling are going.
I'm just letting her know I got.
Yeah.
You gonna go look at it?
No, I'm staying
Nope.
right at the edge of the camp.
Okay. Staying where you are, nothing seems to happen. Like whatever creature it is doesn't come closer to the camp. But you do hear a few more muffled screams, cries of pain, and then silence. There's a bit of heavy footfall shifting, and then eventually the sound dies down and goes away. Whatever it is has finished what it was doing and is moving on.
I think methinks our targets got what they deserves.
Allie kind of flaps her way back down and is like, I agree.
So, at the end of your rest, nothing else has happened. You pass over to Lafcadio. Lafcadio, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
And we will fill in Lafcadio what transpired through our watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, I'll take it from here. You can count on me. And I rolled a 1. My passive is a 13.
Passive is 13. Okay. You don't notice any sort of evidence of anything happening. The creature doesn't come back. Nothing seems to bother you. There is a point where a bat flies out of the trees, just flapping, making a little bit of noise as it does so, but that's about it. Fairly boring watch, to be honest. Who do you pass off to?
I'll wake up Kale. Mate, Wampum and Allie said there was something moving up in the forest. There was roaring and screaming, but nothing else. Hasn't come close up during my watch. All I saw was a dang bat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good night.
Bye-bye.
So, Kale,
Mm-hmm.
give me a perception check, please.
I will start by casting guidance. Just
Okay.
hold my rock in my hand. Let me go ahead and add the D4 to that. I'll roll a different one. This disappeared. So you said perception?
Yeah, perception check.
11 total after all that rolling.
Okay. It's dark. It's very late in the night at this point. The fire that you had... did you set a fire at all? I don't think you did. No.
We decided it
Okay.
was summer, so no.
Yeah, so there's no real light to help you. Your dark vision sets everything as just shades of grey. You are surprised.
Is he surprised with the crossbow of hand warding?
Did you gave that to me?
No, but it affects all my allies within 30 feet of me. Unless they're affected by non-magical sleep. From being surprised.
Alright, then I would say... Okay, weapon of warning. I believe it's not a case of your friends are all warned, more like you're warned
Okay.
than anything else of danger. Alright, then, but you are warned, so everyone roll initiative.
Oh,
Crap. Oh.
Oh, I reckon I should have healed myself before I went to sleep.
So, anyone roll over a 20?
yes. Wampum got a nat 20, which is a 27.
I have a 22 total.
So Wampum with a 27. Anyone get higher than the 22 for...
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
21.
Ali with 22. Lafcadio with 21. 15 to 20. Nope. 10 to 15. 5 to 10. What you get, Nos? Nos got a 7. Okay. And Kale?
4.
4. Okay. Kind of perfect. So, everyone is prone except Kale. And while none of you are surprised, these creatures were completely hidden at the beginning of their turn, so they do have advantage on their attacks. Kale. 3 large shadowy dogs creep out of the darkness as they attack. First one does attack you. Has advantage, so that's going to be a 23 to hit.
Yup.
Okay, that'll deal 10 points of piercing damage.
Ow. Owie. Okay.
And then roll a strength saving throw.
That's my best stat. So, 8.
8. Okay. You are pulled prone by this shadowy dog as it attacks you. All right.
Bad dog.
Wampum. You are prone. The weapon of warning does warn the party that danger is around, but you're prone. What are you going to do?
Stand up, and I take it since we're sleeping, I would be out of my armor.
That's up to you to decide whether or not you were. I personally don't run the rules that you have any sort of detriment to your sleep.
Okay.
You've been adventuring long enough. You know how to sleep in your armor.
Okay. I am. I take it I'm not. I won't be able to cover 10 feet to get to him.
Depends how far away from the party Kale was when he was keeping watch.
He would have been like at the edge of camp, I guess. So.
Okay. No, they're close, but they're not within that distance.
All right. So I'm going to move the 10 feet. I'm going to throw a hand axe.
Okay. So you see these 3 shadow dogs.
Okay. That would be a 13, but I'm going to go ahead and use a die. So that's a total of a 17 to hit.
Okay. The weapon does hit. It breaks into the shadow form of this creature.
And that is going to be 10 points of damage.
Okay.
Throwing another hand axe for a 16 to hit.
All right. Now your weapons are mundane, right?
Yes, they're normal.
Okay.
They're normal hand axes.
As the weapon strikes, you do notice that this creature seems to be resistant to your attack.
Okay. And that is another 10 points of damage.
Okay, so another 5 as it's cut down.
Okay.
Okay.
And that is going to be it for me.
All right, fair enough. Then we move to Allie.
All right, Allie is going to hop up and immediately take to the air. So she is going to fly up above the party with her crossbow out and have all 3 of the dogs attacked.
No, only one of them.
Okay, she's going to target one that has not attacked yet.
Okay.
And that means I have advantage from the assassinate feat. So
Yep.
I have advantage on the attack. And that would be a natural 20 and a 2. So I'll take the natural 20.
Yep, that'll hit.
Okay. And so that would be 1d6 plus 4. And since it's a natural 20, but he has resistance because it's not magical.
Well, you roll all of your dice, and you have advantage on the attack, so you got a sneak attack. So just go ahead and roll everything.
All right.
Okay.
11, 16, 19, 21, 22, 25 damage total.
All right, so it's resistant. It only takes 12. Anything else from you?
Allie's going to call out and warning to her friends that they're under attack and that they're shadowy.
Thank you.
Next up is actually the one that was just hit. It is going to start running towards the still currently prone Lafcadio.
Kale.
Lafcadio should
Oh, okay.
also-
He was still laying down.
Yeah, Lafcadio should still be prone. As it runs over, those that are watching will watch it go invisible. As it disappears from view,
Great.
it'll position itself right over Lafcadio and then strike out at him from the shadows. That's going to be a 23 to hit.
It'll hit.
Okay. You will take 9 points of piercing damage. And that'll be it for the dog. Then Lafcadio, what would you like to do?
I will stand up.
Okay.
I will cast daylight right above myself.
Right.
And that will give it 60-foot radius sphere of light.
Immediately, the entire camp is just illuminated, causing these shadowy figures to seem much weaker than they originally were. These mastiffs look like smaller dogs, weaker dogs now at this point.
And I will, with bonus action, cast Sacred Flame on the dog that is right next to me. It's a DC 16 dex save.
Okay. It has disadvantage now that it's in the sunlight. So that'll be a 19 on the dex save.
And
So
it takes
no damage.
no damage. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All right. Anything else from you, Lafcadia?
That's it.
Okay. Nos.
I am woken up. I am very angry. So I'll rage. Do a neat little. You know what? When you toss your legs up under you as with the momentum, and then you're no longer prone. Do one of those. Yeah.
Okay.
You know. And then I'm gonna go for the. Is the one over Lufcadio still invisible despite the sunlight?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I'm
It's
gonna go
very
for that.
much visible at this point. Right.
Get off the Catman! 21 to hit.
21 is definitely going to hit.
12 magical slash.
Since what you'll notice is that the form of the creature is solidified while it's in sunlight, so it's not resistant at all to the damage that you deal. Okay.
So that's 7 radiant damage on top of that for Divine Fury, and
Right.
back around second attack as a 25.
That's going to hit.
And it's 10. Slash.
Right. The creature is now heavily wounded. It practically falls to one knee. Okay. Anything else from you, Nos?
That'll be it.
Okay. The third dog, the one that is still next to Kale. It's unsure about the situation. It's now in bright light, which is a problem. And it's specifically sunlight because you cast the daylight spell. So it is going to attack Kale. The advantage cancels that with the disadvantage that it gets for being in sunlight. So just a straight up attack is a natural 1.
Woo.
This whole situation just frightens it. It is going to tear off and run. Kale, what do you want to do? You do have one dog still above you.
Kale will kind of scramble to his feet, and as he does so, he reaches into his satchel and fishes out a really small silver mirror. And he kind of holds that up to the dog while also grabbing onto his shield. And he casts Sanctuary on himself while also taking the dodge action to stand like a kind of defensive stance.
Sanctuary a bonus action?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what Kale's gonna do. And he'll say, "Shoo, dog, go away."
Okay. The dog that is on top of you is going to try, or at least in front of you, is going to try to hit you. It has disadvantage on the saving throw for the wisdom save to even try to hit you. And that's going to be a 15. Does that allow it to hit?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Then it is going to run to someone else. Instead, it will provoke an attack of opportunity if you wish to do so.
I don't have a weapon in my hand, so no.
Okay. Then it runs towards the creator of the light, Lafcadio.
He gets within 10 feet, provokes opportunity attack from.
Yep.
Do I have advantage?
No, you don't have advantage on the attack against this
It's
thing.
been a critical. Oh. Okay, it's a 13.
13 will hit.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's 13.
It's just little dogs. All right. 13 points of damage. This creature is now very weak. Okay, Wampum.
I'm going to run up to the two dogs. The first dog you said was like almost on his knees.
Both of them at this point.
Okay. First dog is a 21
That's definitely going to hit.
for 9 points of damage.
Okay. That'll kill the hound.
The second dog is going to be a 14
That'll hit.
for 8 points of damage.
Okay. How do you want to kill this shadow mastiff?
As I killed the first dog, I'm going to actually use my shield to pick it up off the ground, and then my axe will go and disembowel it.
Okay. As you cut in through this creature, it begins to immediately deteriorate and fall apart. It's made of pure shadow, and so it just seems to dissolve and fade away as you strike at this creature. The area still brightly lit by the daylight spell. You can clearly see there are no other creatures around you. Everything seems fine and calm.
Mr. Kale, what foul magic was that?
Looks like shadow magic to me. Would I know what these creatures were?
You can roll either history, religion.
I'll go with history.
Hey, Lefcadio, can you turn the lights off? Right.
I can. Should I?
14.
Yeah, because we're gonna track things.
My history check.
With the 14, you would understand a little. These shadow mastiffs usually don't just attack at whim. They usually have a purpose. They're usually summoned for a purpose. The fact that these did just come and attack you and one of them run away, that seems odd for this kind of creature. Seems unnatural behavior even for a monstrosity made of shadow.
Would I happen to know what sort of people summon these things?
Just evil-minded individuals.
All right.
Nefarious folk.
Rapscallions.
So it seems to me that so Kale's like brushing himself off, like getting shadow dog off him or whatever. He says, it seems to me that someone has it out for one or all of us, because those creatures don't exist naturally. Someone sent them here.
You talked to that severed head. Can you talk to the shadows that we killed?
Are they still here?
No, the shadows have dissipated. No remains left.
Should we follow the one that ran away?
Do shadows leave trails?
Likely not.
You could try and track it if you'd like.
No.
All it would require would be a survival check if you guys choose to try and track it down.
Does that mean we'd miss closing in on the long rest?
Yep.
Mm.
You're close to finishing your long rest.
Well, you are welcome to chase it down. Personally, I'm of the opinion that if someone is after us, they'll reveal themselves to us again later on down the road. We should just take greater caution going forward.
We will establish dominance once more.
Right. Then everyone goes back to sleep, rests for the rest of the night. Nos takes the final watch. Don't really need to roll a perception check as nothing happens during your watch. Everything goes by smoothly. Everyone wakes up bright and early in the morning for ready for the new day, and we will pick up the adventure from here next week. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. You can follow us on Twitter. We are at Crituitous RP. You can support us by following us here on Twitch. And we really appreciate all of the things that you guys do. So please tell your friends about us, share it with us. If you like what you watch, join us next week for another episode of Half Rate Heroes. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks for joining us,
Good
Super
night.
Nick.